everybody, and welcome back to another Nextlander podcast. Alex Navarro, happy almost end of August. What a time to celebrate.
Oh, yeah, no. Greetings, fellow podcaster. I, too, am very glad that August and summer is almost over. I would like a different season now, please.
Now I look forward to things happening in September. Brad Shoemaker, how are you?
What is time?
What is time?
I don't know.
I only mark time by when Grand Theft Auto is coming out and when Grand Theft Auto leaks are coming out. So these are the only ways I can mark time. You know, I didn't really pay attention to... This is not in the news. We're not covering it in the news. It's definitely in the news. We're not covering it in the news. What is going on? Can somebody give me the short of what's going on with the Grand Theft Auto stuff?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
The short version is some hacker group got a hold of footage of that game. I don't remember exactly what the source was. I don't think it's specifically from the Netflix special. I think it's other footage.
Okay.
I think it was Insider Gaming that said that this actually touches on something I brought up last week, that supposedly there's a hands-on event happening right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unclear if the footage came from that either. Unclear if the footage is real, I guess, because
It's been getting pulled down, so more than likely it is real.
Briefly went on, yeah, it probably is, but what I mean is that I briefly went on Twitter to look around and see what was floating around out there, and there was plenty of plausible-looking footage of that game, but also we're now in an era where it's very easy to say, maybe this is just AI-generated.
I mean, so as someone who has seen a lot of random clips of AI-generated fake GTA 6 over the last year and a half, most of that stuff is pretty easily identifiable once you realize, oh, wait, this shit, everything just starts breaking in the background like 5 seconds in. Like, the video
that's not GTA?
That's not GTA, I don't think, no.
Right, well.
No, the footage, I saw a little bit of the leaked footage, and this stuff seems a lot more concretely looks like a GTA game than something someone invented in a computer.
Were the clips more than 6 seconds long before a cut?
Seemed like it.
Actually, well, what I saw, it was like a lot of footage, but it was each clip was like 5 to 10 seconds long.
There you go. I don't know. I do wonder legally, if somebody claims to have your footage, do you have good standing to say this is... And it's not, right? If it's AI generated, do you have good standing to say,
I don't know.
I pull this down? Who knows?
They're copyright claiming the shit out of these latest leaked clips that have gotten out there. And so there was a straight up, like, you know, ransomware manifesto attached to this leak saying it's the exact kind of shit you would expect of, like, this is a larger protest against, you know, day one DLC and all this other, like, gamer bullshit, and not really anything related to GTA specifically.
Interesting. Okay, well, I don't know what's going on, and I'm kind of glad for my ignorance, because in the end, the commercial that will be airing on Netflix for
in like
Netflix
a week and
subscribers in a week and a half, and then put on the internet, is really the reveal. So I guess it's more of a, hey, if you're saving yourself for the reveal, be aware there's footage out there. I'm not sure what the public safety announcement is there for this one.
I think at this point the frothing demand has increased to such a degree now that no one is really trying to save themselves. It seems like the devouring is rather voracious, and you know, like, people today are yelling about the fact that apparently that footage shows that, or something in there, the leaks show that you need to buy gas for your car. That's the big new innovation, or one of the new innovations. And of course, when you know, the audience is split over that. Go figure.
I didn't mention this, but we did talk about, I went to a Dave & Buster's, and it said new machine here, right? It had like a sign that's like new edition. And it was a gas pumping game.
Amazing.
I don't know if this says a lot for where we are, just as a
menial labor
here,
as entertainment,
or like, hey, take your chances at the gas pump. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, like, this is now a mechanic. So yeah,
don't smoke around those arcade machines.
No, yeah. Well, do me a favor. Don't smoke in the Dave & Buster's. It's kind of gnarly enough as it is.
I don't know. I kind of feel like that's the only way I could tolerate it, honestly.
I've been watching so much Columbo, and that dude just is puffing away everywhere. It just makes me, sometimes it makes me mad at Columbo.
I can smell every episode of that show.
You really can. Sometimes he's just holding on to old priceless artifacts, smoking a cigar, and being like, oh, this. Also,
look at that. Isn't that real nice? And just blows a big puff of smoke on it.
Or into somebody's face and they don't acknowledge it. The other thing about Columbo that I've noticed is that You've
been watching a lot of that?
I've been like every night I kind of go to sleep watching.
Nice.
Some of them are. I think they're getting better and better as I'm in the mid before it takes the break and comes back as much older Columbo.
Yeah.
So I'm nearing up, and the thing that I've seen, and I know it would be too much to watch for the Watchcast. They're long episodes.
Yeah, they're all
like
basically TV movies. Yeah,
but I think some of them are very, very good. And I'm also seeing some Star Trek people cross over, some actresses and actors that are like in the next
like the
episode.
guest actors. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, oh, I recognize this person. They must have been doing the tour around some of this time. But they start bringing in more of the police department and interactions with Columbo and like the sergeants and people. And I love that banter when they're talking to Columbo and Columbo has to talk to people. And they did this arc for a while where there's like somebody shadowing him and like a nerdy kind of guy who just loves Columbo. And I love that because they do some stuff which is very good, which you don't get in early Columbo, is how people treat Columbo in the force, right? Like what his relationship is like with other people on the police force, and it's kind of awesome. It's a kind of fun
and
dynamic.
It varies, too. Like, there are some police people who take him very seriously despite his foibles, and there are other people who are like, I don't know, what is this guy's deal? What is he doing?
They all kind of respect him. Even like the chiefs and stuff are like, oh, Columbo. Anyway. Yeah,
it probably just says something about how much I think about Star Wars that when you said treat him in the Force, I thought of the Force.
I mean, sometimes
I think Columbo has the Force.
Now I just have an image of Columbo as a Jedi Master.
He kind of is. Also, some of his end of show leaps there.
I mean, the trench coat is like pretty close to the robes, I suppose.
Yeah, and his cigar is basically a lightsaber.
He just waves his hands like, you will admit your guilt now.
He does do that one, I've noticed, a lot of people do the like one more thing as the Columbo thing, but really the thing is he puts up his hand, you can't, it's an audio podcast, puts up his hand almost like and like straight up and turns away. He's like, that explains it. And then like walks out the door, like he's pushing the person away, like, that's probably it. Every time the person's like, well, what if the shoe just fell off when they were kicking? That's probably it. That's
you're making me want to do another Columbo run. I just finished my last one like 2 years ago. I don't know if I want to do it again.
I've had a lot of fun. Like I said, they're long. It usually takes me like 2 or 3 nights to get through.
Oh yeah,
one,
no, again, they're not
asleep.
short mysteries.
Yeah, but I watched the one with the Italian, the restaurateurs, and he starts speaking Italian to the. Peter Falk is not Italian, but he starts speaking in Italian to. I do like when they're like, Columbo, paisan, hey, and they're like, it's a very 70s.
My wife's brother, he's from Sicily.
Right. My father's from the old country. I don't know. Something charming about Columbo in a way that I'm not sure makes me want to check out the Perry Masons and the Murder, She Wrote more and be like, maybe I just like those. What would you call them, Brad? You said it one time. How Dunnits, right? Or How Catchums.
Yeah, How Catchums.
Maybe I just enjoy that stuff. It's timeless.
I mean, a lot of the stuff you're talking about that's, sidecar to that is more episodic and more just like, here is a 40-minute episode of television versus like an hour-and-a-half TV movie. Like Murder, She Wrote is great. But it is not a How Catch 'em because you don't know who the murderer is through most of it.
Okay.
And it is about learning who the murderer is. But
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, most of those TV like detective shows actually are just like whodunits more than anything else. But those can still be good, like as long as the investigative stuff is well fleshed out. And I think Murder, She Wrote is one where it generally is.
Do you ever watch Perry Mason?
I have seen episodes of Perry Mason, mostly because I had grandparents in the 80s, so.
Yeah, same here. Or the one I need to watch is
Matlock.
Mannix.
Oh, Mannix. Mannix is more of, I remember Mannix being a little bit more of like an action detective show, not just a straight up investigative show.
Oh, like Mike Hammer.
In the neighborhood.
Okay, good.
I haven't really watched much Matlock, but well known for having the best TV theme of all time.
Very good.
Yeah, maybe I need to go check out. Well, all right, if you guys had to pick one for me to watch after Columbo's done, Murder, She Wrote, Matlock, Perry Mason, or Mannix? Yeah, you got one? Kojak?
No, I know. I actually think Murder, She Wrote is probably my favorite of those.
Yeah? Okay. That's Angela Lansbury?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Please, Dame Angela Lansbury.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, maybe I'll take...
Is she British?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I believe profoundly so.
I never really picked up on that listening to her talk.
She has like a mid-Atlantic accent, right? In the show?
A little bit, yeah.
Is it straight up? Okay.
But I think she's lived in America for a very long time. Okay. So
I don't know. Again, not a huge Murder, She Wrote I saw it on the background in a lot of houses. All right, let's jump into we've got some stuff to cover here. Mm-hmm. So I think a game, Alex, you and I wanted to talk about because we just profoundly enjoyed our time with it.
Yes.
On and revisiting it is Big Walk.
Yes.
A game that we I think we played together with two people.
Yes.
Being
the two people.
You and I played it together, two people. I played it with both my one child and then with my two children, so with three people. Mm-hmm. And then we got together and we played it with a group of people and had five.
Yes.
And I think that game the fun scales exponentially with more people in it.
Yes.
I don't know if there's an upper limit as you get close to 12 where it gets maddening.
Maybe a little unwieldy.
But I could see it getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
And the reasons are, one, the puzzle scale, as we know, and I think they do seem to scale up to 4, like we've talked about, and not beyond that.
Yes.
The other part is the inventory space is such a limiting factor when you're carrying things. Each person can start off carrying one thing, as we've mentioned before, but you do get backpacks and belts and stuff to carry other stuff. But just being able to carry more things just makes the game more efficient as you're doing puzzles. You can kind of do the big walk, wander from puzzle to puzzle instead of having to drop stuff off constantly, which is cool. The other thing that I think the realization of the developers, and I'm not trying to get inside their head, but I think they've said this, vision is that there are points in the game where the party just got separated for one reason or another, and you just wind up chatting with your friends as you're just hiking over to somewhere, being like, hey, what's been going on? Like, we've got about a 5-minute walk ahead of us. What's up? What's been going on? Like, we just got to catch up with the party. Oh yeah, how's life? And you're just sitting there waiting for the rest of the party, and you're just talking.
Yeah. I mean, it's a game that is clearly designed for those moments between the actual puzzle solving to be the social element of it. Like there's definitely, like, the communication aspect is good. The bigger thing for me though is that, like, to me, this is one of the best expressions of the big dumb puzzle island thing that other, games like The Witness, even to a degree, Myst have done over the years, which I've just never found super compelling on my own. But there is something about the way this game is designed and the way that the cooperative elements of that game work in tandem with the social aspects that I think is both a little bit ingenious and just very well designed. Like, the way we were bopping from bit to bit in that game, and occasionally, getting distracted and being like, oh, we've already been here before. Yeah. Oh, maybe this isn't really the thing we should be focusing on. None of that really feels ruinous. Like, it's never like, oh God, we wasted all this time. It's more just like, okay, now we have the lay of the land here. We know we don't need to go over here. Let's go over and try this. Maybe we split up here. You guys go there. We go here. And then, whenever you reconvene, like, it's some stuff, some progress has been made, or at least some territory has been discovered. And I think that flow is really well done. Like, just the moment to moment in that really works for me.
Does it open up? Like, I know you said it was more. You said it was pretty linear early on. Like, does it get to the point where you have to start exploring and you don't have to just go up a track?
So I was just going to mention that. I think if you're playing this game and feel like it's pretty linear, I would say, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know some parts can go a different way. But by the time you get the second key, things, I don't want to spoil anything because I think it's a really cool reveal what's behind that door.
Yeah.
But I think the game then does let you just kind of go off and give you some reference points and things like, hey, there's a bigger world out there. Go ahead and go explore it. Up until that point, you're kind of locked in, you're penned in, basically.
The early path is very linear, but then, once the second thing opens up, like, there are definitely, like, shortcuts and other things that are still gated, and there's certain areas that feel kind of like far to the point where you're probably not going to go there right away. But once you get that second key, like, it basically is, the world is kind of your oyster to decide how you want to approach it.
Yeah, and they give you more tools and things that I didn't even expect they'd wind up giving you for exploration, right? Yeah. For kind of coordinating with a group also, like, hey, where do you want to go? And that's why I think the game does get better with more people, because there are times where I feel like it would be more interesting to split up and be like, hey, this would be really fun. Though with 5 people, you kind of want to stick together because the puzzles sometimes do need all 4 people. Sometimes they don't.
How does it handle an odd number of people? Because like with an even number, obviously people can pair off, and like the puzzle design is going to lend itself to that sort of thing. But like, does the 5th player end up being a 5th wheel, like with nothing to do at times? Or
I mean, like there was one puzzle I feel like that. One puzzle for sure that definitely was like, hey, you can help, right? You can definitely help. But there was do you remember the puzzle that was, I'll just name this one puzzle because I actually was one of my favorite puzzles as well. There were a series of symbols. This is going to be a little hard to explain, so Alex, help me out if you can. A series of symbols you had to put in the right order, but each person is in their own room and only has access to one of the symbols. There are 4 symbols, and each person only has access to one of the symbols in sequence, right? So, Brad, you might have the second symbol in the sequence.
And the rooms are labeled. Like, you can say, like, this is room 1, room 2,
I'm in room 1. But you can only communicate with somebody one symbol ahead of you, let's say, right? Like Brad, you can only talk to Alex. Alex can only talk to me. So you had to be like, room 2, squiggle line, done, right? And everybody has to repeat that like a game of telephone until it comes back to the original person who said it, and then you have to then move on. I thought that was really fun, but there were only 4 rooms and we had 5 people, right? So the 5th person was just hanging out in the room with me, helping out. So,
it's interesting, though. There was another one where we got separated where there was 2 of us on one side of the glass and 3 of us on the other. And I honestly don't know if we would have been able to solve the first part of that puzzle if we didn't have 3 people in that room, because we kind of had to stack on top of each other to hit a button to get the thing rolling. And I guess you could have probably stacked one person on top instead of 2,
or like canceled out and basically been like, come over to the side.
But there are things you can do even as the 5th person,
that help.
Sometimes just by accident, sometimes just by being around and being a helpful hand. Like, there are things you can do even if they are not specific to the puzzle mechanic.
And just other ways of helping, Brad. Like, if you're the 5th person, maybe you're holding a flashlight. Like, maybe you're just like, because the inventory space is very limited.
Yeah.
You're just holding a thing, a laser pointer, a flashlight, something that would help the puzzle, because you have to carry back the reward from the puzzle with you, which takes up an inventory slot. So having an empty set of hands is so immensely helpful.
That makes sense.
In the game, to the point where it's sometimes a little frustrating, and we notice that there are spots that generally give gear, like a backpack or a belt, and we just started trying to race towards those areas in lieu of doing the puzzles, to be like, we need to gear up before we do any more puzzles. That's probably my one criticism of the game, is like that, though I think it does add this kind of dynamic with the limited inventory, I do wish everybody just had a backpack. It would be nice.
Yeah, they don't make it too hard to get them, but like it definitely feels like that the limited inventory is a little bit of a hindrance at the beginning. But I think once you've kind of gotten out of those early areas and you're kind of in the open world, like, it does not become hard to start gearing yourself up.
No, we did overcome, or I've just gotten used to the fall off with the voice stuff, and it's a little bit better when you have more people, because there's a chain of people.
I see they fixed the voice problem also. They put out a patch.
Still,
like
it's not a lot.
There's a big write up on the Steam page about why it was broken. It seems like it was not intentional, is the point. Like, they were like, oh, we did not account for the range of volume, whatever. We don't need to get into the technical stuff, but it seems like
microphones.
Technically that was broken.
Okay.
And they have put out an update to make it better.
Does it say when that patch went out? I wonder if it was after we had our
7th of August.
Okay, so I think it was out by the time we had our playthrough.
It still has some significant drop off.
Yeah, I think the part that I was more running into, aside from the actual volume, is the drop off by design. I think it does, because it does work its way into some puzzles where at a certain distance, if you could hear the person, the puzzle would be very different.
Yes. And then, so a couple of other quick things about it. One, I love that if you holler into some big open void of space, the echo does carry. You can hear voices sort of like carrying across the valleys and whatnot, which I think is useful, because you can get lost in this game to a point. I got lost one time. I was with 2 of our party members. We'd turned on a thing and we were writing a thing. and they got off, and then I was like, oh shit, I need to jump off too. And they went off somewhere where I didn't see them, and I was just lost for a while. And then I found one of the big hub towers, and I just sat there, grabbed a radio, was like, hey, I'm over here, come find me. And no one ever did. But I just kept sending up flares like, hey, I'm over here. If you want to come find me.
And we could see the flares. So we knew, and then the radio came through on the walkie-talkie, and I think eventually we were able to talk to you. The other fun thing is like when you just see a laser pointer hit the sky
yes,
in the distance.
Like, okay, this means something.
Yeah, like somebody's over there. That stuff is just fun with more people.
Agreed. And the other thing is that this game is really funny. Like, it not in like a overtly slapstick way, but some of the big dumb falls people did when we were playing. There was one that Billy, or one of our players, did where he just straight up slid down off a cliff and then kind of like ramped up again.
Yeah.
And it was like
as he was talking,
it was perfect like physical comedy type stuff. And the game is actually really well set up for those kinds of moments.
So with the prox chat, it's pretty funny when somebody's talking and goes, oh shit.
Oh shit.
And also the thing goes flying out of your hands. You're like, I lost the thing.
The gourd, the baby, whatever you want to call it.
The walkie-talkie maybe. So yeah, big walk, a lot of fun. I am curious to see how long it is. We're gonna have another session with our group.
Yeah, I bet we could actually get close to finishing it by the next time, based on what I've read. But also maybe not actually finish it. I also think this is probably one of my favorite things I've played this year so far. Like in a good group setting, I think this thing really sings.
Yeah, I agree.
I gotta get a posse together at some point for this, I guess.
I to be fair, again, this happens with a lot of games. I have a harder time imagining playing this with strangers.
Apparently, there is a little bit of a subgroup now of people finding each other who don't have other people to play with, and it is actually at least what I've read about it, there have been some people who have found like good groups to play with that way.
That's awesome.
And there are some people out there who are just playing with people who don't have anyone else to play with.
That's great. I would like to hope this game doesn't attract the same kind of toxic people who might be out there to ruin someone's time, you know?
The griefing in this is extremely playful, and I think, more like, hey, just mess with your friends kind of stuff. There's not really a lot you can do to super fuck up someone's game.
No, I guess you could just be a jerk.
But you can start punting those babies instead of letting people, use them for their purpose. But I feel like at a certain point, it's like, why are you even playing with that person then?
Yeah, and when you say babies, you mean the puzzle
the
reward.
Objects, the little gourds, the Matryoshka dolls, whatever you want to call them, the things that you use.
I'm going to tell you that the subreddit for this game is probably the most positive thing I have seen around a video game in a very long time.
Good.
It is nothing but fan art and people talking about how the pickup group that they got into for this game changed their life. And stuff.
Really lovely piece of work.
That's
and I
lovely.
think it engenders that kind of thing.
You can also use text if you don't want to use your prox chat. You can type, and I guess I'm not sure how it manifests, but they say it's proximity-based chat. I
think we should start using Big Walk instead of Teams for our meetings at work.
I agree. I agree with that person, especially because it's Teams.
People really like this game.
This is going to be better than any team building exercise you would have at work, let me tell you.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. And like I said, I think the real magic seemed to spark when we were more than 3 people, let's say.
Yes.
Like when I was playing with my kids, it was a lot of fun. But there's just something about a big group marching along with flashlights waving around that is pretty cool.
I was legitimately beaming for days after that session we had. I was thinking about it in a way that I normally don't think about these kinds of games.
Yeah, it was cool. Very cool. All right, let's take a quick break here. That's Big Walk. That's out on the PlayStation, the Switch, and the PC. Though on the Switch 2, curious to see how that all goes with the chat. I wonder if you need to have
Can I be Star Fox and Big Walk?
Yeah, right, exactly. The headset stuff and how that all goes. I mean, or the the camera with the microphone or whatever you have going on. So whatever those Switch 2 people are doing these days, those
whatever they're up
cats. That's Big Walk, $20. I think having a good group, or sounds like maybe even a pickup group out there, is a great experience to have. I'm curious if you're playing with 2 people and have made it through the whole thing. What do you think? Somebody who played it with 2 and then played it with 5, I found 5 to just be a really different experience. Big Walk, we're going to take a quick break, not a big break, a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. This week's show is brought to you by Quince. Alex Navarro.
Yes.
Quince specializes in clothing.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, now that's something I use on the regular. Listeners of this who have not seen a video might not know that I am clothed most of the time when recording these
majority
things.
of the time I see, accoutrement upon your body. And
that's right.
Generally my rule is if I'm going outside, I think I need to wear clothes.
Yes, that's right. Well, Quince has your back. I have some Quince stuff. Most of my stuff is fall stuff from Quince, so I'll be breaking that out shortly. I probably should just go to Quince and restock up on summer stuff, but I feel like for summer, I just need to get through it. For fall, though, ooh, that's
coming.
That's stylish, Vinny.
Yeah.
That's when Vinny breaks out the sweater he got from Quince.
I have always lived autumn style whenever possible.
It's the best time. Quince specializes in everyday staples that work harder, like their ultra-soft organic cotton tees and premium Mongolian cashmere sweaters. They're versatile, timeless, and transition seamlessly from a casual workday, like this podcast, to dinner out. If you're like me, Vinny, and still hanging on to the same worn-out basics, Quince makes it easy to upgrade. They have premium denim and tailored chinos from just $60 with the kind of perfect fit, structure, and high-quality fabrics that you'd expect from a luxury designer brand. And everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Plus, they work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for high quality and not brand markup. So,
how do I get in there, Vinny?
Well, you can upgrade your everyday by downloading the Quince app for app-exclusive offers and go to quince.com/Nextlander. You'll get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com, Quince/Nextlander. Thanks, Quince. All right, we are back, and another game, Alex, that you and I have had the pleasure of sharing is Incident at Galley House, which for me, this was the game I wanted to play all week. We're streaming this, so I'm trying, or I am not playing it at home.
Yes, good.
But my family is playing it as I was like, hey, you guys, this is a really cool game. I think you would really enjoy Incident at Galley House. And they checked it out, and then they immediately all started playing it together. And then I had to basically leave the house because they're all shouting.
You cannot
stuff.
know.
I cannot know. At one point, just putting on headphones, and they're like, "Are we being too loud?" Being like, "It's fine."
I do feel like we hit a part in that game, though, where it a part of what is to be revealed in that game has been revealed to us.
Yes, I think we have maybe, or the game has played some hand.
Yeah, I don't think this is the totality of what it is sort of running under the hood there, but we at least have an angle now that makes us understand a little bit more about what's going on there.
So if you missed it, we talked about it last time, or if you don't know what Incident at Galley House is, the very quick of it is it's a deduction game where you are trying to figure out the who's, the what's, and the where's, basically. Names of people, matching portraits with people, guests at a house that had some incident, let's say.
I'm going to say it's a series of incidents that takes place over a couple of days.
In the 30s, and then you are coming in the now, the present, or the near now, and going to try and figure out what happened there by watching scenes and then piecing together information to place faces and names and timelines together. It's very cool. It's very kind of along the lines of a root trees or those types of deduction games like that. I think the presentation is very well done, and the twists and turns it's taking are keeping us on our back foot, at least, as we go through and navigate it. So it's been kind of a lot of fun to figure out what the heck is happening. Something weird is happening at the Galley House. It's
not just a murder mystery. There is some other element going on there. I'm not going to spoil what we've learned. You can watch the stream we did if you want to know more. But there's an element there that is not merely just about figuring out who done it.
Yes, and so I am really enjoying that as well. So having a pretty good time with video games right now. There
are some good games out.
Big Walk and the incident at Galley House. Check out the stream, or at least the first stream, if you want to play it for yourself. Or I don't want to be spoiled, because by the time we're in the second stream, some stuff, like Alex said, might start.
The first stream is actually a really good introduction to kind of the mechanics of it without giving away a ton of the plot. Like there's enough there to get you interested, I think.
Brad, you said you've continued to play some Slay the Spire?
Yes. I beat a run of Slay the Spire.
Oh, heck yeah. It was so hard for me to not lay commentary on what you said last time when you're like, hey man, this is it, right? Once I get past this, I'm done. When you were like was it the third act boss?
Yes.
And for those who now have finished it and were biting their tongues for Brad, what'd you think once you finished your third act boss?
I didn't know how to feel, because I beat it with the Silent, the Poison Dagger, the Shiv character. It was like the Time Lord, or the Timekeeper, or whatever.
Yeah.
Boss was the one I pulled, which is the one that resets your turn every 12 cards and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how to convey the arc of that boss fight. I was having the best run of my life. Like, every relic that dropped was incredible. Like, I had like 3 different ways to heal constantly.
Nice.
I got a relic I'd never seen before where every single attack card I acquired came in already upgraded.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I was just had a deck full of upgraded attack cards, like, just on and on. It was like an unbelievable run.
Did you have a particular build?
I had like insane amounts of poison stacking that I was doing.
Okay.
And this is not limited to this boss. I've seen it elsewhere, but like sometimes I'm not sure how to feel about that game, because like this was the first time I'd seen that boss, and I had like 180 poison on him or something. Like he was basically just going to die in 2 turns. And then he just purged all the poison off out of nowhere. Like with like not even using an ability. It seemed like a scripted thing to happen, because there was dialogue that he was like, haha, the poison's gone or something.
Oh, really?
And like I've seen like the champion or the champ, the second act boss will do that as well. I've noticed like he can purge all of your debuffs off of him, but this one felt like just the biggest fuck you in the world from the developers to me. They were just like, oh, you think you've got a good build going? Well, what if you didn't?
Is that the one that like when you act or do damage, a timer ticks? Is that and then after like 12 turns?
That's the 12 card thing. It's
cards.
It's every 12 cards you play. When you play your 12th card, it ends your current turn.
Okay.
So even if it's like the first card of your new turn, if it's your 12th card since the last time this happened, your turn's over.
Okay.
But it was not that. It was just him out of nowhere. I don't know what it was, but somehow
shook it off.
Like because I looked at how much poison I had on him, because I doubled this poison and then tripled it and then tripled it again, and I looked at it and I was like, if I can just survive 2 turns, I'm just going to win.
Yeah, and then shrugged it off.
And then he just got rid of it. And I went from, because I did not have a lot of block in my deck, and he was hitting for successively like 30, 40, 50 damage per turn.
Oof.
But
you said you had some healing ability?
No, but that was only between that was between encounters. Okay. That was like, when I hit a rest area, I would heal for like 3 times the number of cards in my deck, and then blah, blah, blah. Like, it was not a mid-fight thing. Basically, it was just like, I'm fucked. There's nothing I can do here now, because he's just going to destroy me, because I can't block all this damage he's doing, and all he's doing is damage. There's nothing else I can even mitigate here. I don't even know what happened, because I went from like, oh my god, I'm going to beat this game, to, oh my god, fuck this game. To just like, I'm just going to use everything I have and not even really... I was so like disheartened that I wasn't even really fully paying attention to what I was doing. And somehow I still beat it. Like somehow I got enough poison back on him. And some other stuff where he was like, I had thorns on me, so he was like taking damage every time he hit me. So like that was contributing. Anyway, like long story short, I somehow managed to do another 140 damage or something in like 2 turns. And like... could not believe I was sort of in disbelief when he died. I was like, wait a minute, I thought I was fucked. I thought I was just gonna die again. How is I wish I had taken a video or something, because I have no idea like what the mechanics were of him dying, but he died.
If anybody knows what the shrugging off the poison is, I'm kind of curious to see if that is a thing that just happens, or if it's like a boss has an epic feature that can just like get rid of poison after a while.
Like I said, it paused and had dialogue attached to it. It was not just a standard attack. It was definitely this is like scripted to happen.
Yeah, so I'm curious if what that is. So what happened to you after that?
I don't know. I got the 4th class.
Okay.
I guess I can do ascensions with the silent now.
Did you do some damage on the heart?
Oh yeah, that was a neat thing. I took a screenshot of that because it told how much cumulative damage every player of that game ever has done to the heart. Which was quite a bit at this point. I think it was like 8 digits. I'd have to go check or something. It was a lot, but anyway, I'm on the Switch. I don't know if that's just platform specific damage or if it's across all versions.
I wonder. I don't know if that game has cross progression. I wonder.
I don't know, but anyway, that's cool.
Are you going to try the other characters?
Yeah, I started a run. Well, there's just one, unless there's something I don't know about. I think there's.
Well, you haven't beaten it with the other characters.
Oh no. I've played the others off and on as well. It's just my favorite one, but I think it's just 4 classes in this one, right?
In the Slay the Spire 1, I don't know if that's the same in 2.
No, there's 5 at least in 2 because it's on the Steam page. But that stance character seems weird.
I like that
started a run with the stance character, but didn't really put too much time into it. But that seems like a lot to wrap your head around.
So, did you get the thing? I'm trying to do this without spoilers, but I suspect you saw it. That was about collecting gems during a run.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Okay, you haven't seen that. Okay. That might be a thing after you beat it. Do the runs with each of the characters or more characters. There's definitely more to that game after.
Yeah, I would.
To the point where I was like, that thing when a boss gets an extra health bar and you didn't, or an extra phase, and you're like,
that is that
dude,
game. Dude, that is that game.
Yeah, and you're like, come on, like. I just spent all this time trying to get that first health bar down.
Sometimes I wonder why I keep playing that game.
I think because the builds are awesome.
Yes, it's because when you get a really good run going, it is extremely satisfying. But I fully believe there's like more in there after you beat it with every character or something like that. I'm sure they've crammed plenty of extra stuff in there.
Yeah, I have gotten a complete run, I believe, once or twice, but I have not done it with every character. But I think the tuning in that game is so fun because when you get, like you said, when you get a thing that clicks, it really clicks. But like you just said with that boss, sometimes you're steamrolling, and then you just hit a thing that's just like, oops. Didn't work.
Or you just get screwed by the draws or whatever, It's just like, I don't know how many, like a lot of enemies in that game tend to alternate attacks on and off from turn to turn, It's like they'll attack this turn, then they'll do a buff on themselves the next one, and then blah, blah, I don't know how many times I've gotten it where it's like, and also a lot of those off turns, you can't attack them because you'll take a bunch of damage by attacking them or something, something like that, where it's like there are turns where you can't attack, there are turns where you need to attack, some where you need to block. I don't know how many times I'll get like, only attack cards on the turn I can't attack.
Yes.
And then only block cards on the turn that they are not attacking me. You know? So it's like I'm just eating huge amounts of damage because I can't block them when they are attacking.
This is why you gotta get your discard pile down to 2 cards in your hand.
Man.
So you're just getting the right 2 cards every time.
Yeah. I'm sure that's just deck builders, but
there's one guy, I forget what he is, but I think he's every time you attack him, he gets his attack doubles or something. Is it?
It's the big red devil looking guy.
He sucks so much. I hate him.
Yeah, yes.
Every time you do damage, he gets more aggressive. I think
it's every time you use a skill card, he gets more strength.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Oh, that guy sucks so much.
Yes, he sucks.
Especially when you're like, my whole thing is skill cards.
Yep. You just have to kill him as fast as humanly possible or lose.
Yes. I think that game's a lot of fun. Someday I will try Slay the Spire too. But
there's so much in here. I'm happy to just keep playing 1 because 2 is still very much in flux because it's early access and the Steam reviews are actually mixed right now. So
I think 1 is just such a beloved, and I don't know the ins and outs, but feels very well tuned. That I think probably messing with the formula in 2 makes a lot of people put off. But I don't know why it's mixed. Honestly, I haven't tried 2. Same as you. I had so much fun going back to 1. That's plenty there for me to chew on. That is Slay the Spire, 2019's Slay the Spire. Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, Brad, let's talk about Noita for a second.
Yeah, I also started playing Noita.
This is 2020's Noita?
Yeah, I mean, when did it go into early access? I think it was a good year or 2 before that.
Yeah, I think so.
It feels like it's been out forever, but I just still...
It has been.
I'm on this roguelike, like short burst run based kick right now for a whole large variety of reasons. I think I saw somebody talking about Noita somewhere.
Great.
Randomly.
I mean, look, now's the time to do it.
It's like, you never know how you might affect somebody else's, the trajectory of somebody else's life might change completely based on butterfly flaps its wings in Taipei.
That's right. That's right.
You mentioned Noita on a forum somewhere, and then next thing you know, somebody is playing Noita nonstop. No.
So you tried this when it came out?
I played this when it was in early access and when it came out, and I've like hopped into it a couple times since then anyway. Did you guys play a lot of Noita? I've always been completely...
I've touched it, that's it.
I've always been completely fascinated by it and never quite sure how much I like it, or I'm certainly not very good at it. Noita is the 2D roguelike where everything is like extremely physics simulated. It's like It's like pixel art, but there's like tons of fluid and like gas simulation, where there's like lava and smoke and poison and water and things catch on fire and burn and like acid and it's all very physicsy. Like you're like shooting the side out of a big basin of lava, and then the lava flows everywhere, and then all the coal around it gets set on fire, and then
and a lot of like terrain destruction.
Yes,
right?
like a lot of just systemic physics-based destruction of the environment. It's a fascinating game just to watch. I'm terrible at it. I'm not sure if I will ever I can't even reliably get out of the first area on a run. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily going to actually play a ton of it from this point forward, but I've
curiosity got piqued.
I've always been fascinated. It's like it's a game that gifts well, like it's just goofy animations of like some explosion happening and setting everything on fire and shooting you through the roof or whatever, like it's a fun game to watch. It's a very hard game to play or play well.
Can you kind of give me the quick and dirty on how the roguelike mechanic or run-based mechanic works?
I don't know, because I've never, like I said, there are portals that take you from area to area, and I've only even made it to the portal of the first area like twice.
So are you taking anything back with you? Currency or?
I don't think so. No, not that I know of.
Okay.
I don't think there's any persistent progression. Don't quote me on that if that's wrong, but...
So
I find I made it to that portal. Like this is a perfect example. If I had been streaming, chat would have gone crazy. Like I finally made it to that portal with like a decent amount of health and some half decent wands for once, and just extreme series of comedic errors literally right next to the portal, and I was exploded by physics.
Great.
It's that kind of thing.
And the world changes each run.
Yeah, it's super procedural.
Does your loadout change each run? Like what you start with?
I think there might be a little bit of randomization. You start with 2 wands, and I think one of them shoots bombs, and the other one I think can change a little bit.
Okay.
But it's mostly like the items you're finding along the way.
I did not know this was from it's from 3 people, one of which did Baba Is You, and one of which worked on the Swapper.
Interesting.
Which is like and one of them did Crayon Physics Deluxe, which I guess makes sense when you see some of the pedigree here.
Okay, I thought it was one guy. I met with the main developer like a million years ago, like before it came out at E3, I think it was. Anyway, oh no, you're right. There are 3 people on it. I don't know. I forget which one. I forget who it was that I met with on this game.
Those are all 3 games that I have played and enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I should. This is the butterfly flaps its wings here on the podcast. Now I kind of want to just go at least dabble and take a run at this. Just because some unknown person that will never meet was playing Noita and talking about it. Now look at this ripple effect. I know.
We are all connected.
It is $20 on Steam, which I thought is fine. I'm not saying that's expensive. But I did expect it to be like on sale for $5. I'm sure it's gone on sale.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been $2 on a million Steam sales. Have you never played it?
I don't even know if I have this in my library.
If you've never played it, you should at least try it, because it is just very... I want to say unique. I mean,
chaotic.
Maybe no. Like unique. It's like I don't think what I really mean to say is there's kind of nothing else like it out there. But I hesitate to say things like that because there probably are 5 other things just like this that I don't know about. But like it really,
sure, to your knowledge,
especially when it came out. But even to this day, it kind of feels unlike anything else I have played in a lot of ways.
Look, if there's a stream of me playing it, I apologize. My memory is terrible. But looking at it again, it kind of reminds me of a cross between something like Terraria and a pixel junk game.
Kind of.
Where like,
yeah, sure.
Mixed in with maybe a little Spelunky, right? In just terms of the of like, oh shit, combination of errors happening.
It also feels like a very old school computer game, and I intentionally use the words computer game and not PC game because it's like 360-degree aiming with the mouse, like it's abuse or something, like like an old school, a game of that nature, Turrican or something. Also, like just the way the icon bar works, like you'll see what I mean if you play it, but like the way you slot your items into your hotbar just feels very old computer game. Like it feels like a game. This feels like a game from 1985, just with modern horsepower behind it.
Yeah, the thing that, and maybe this is what you're running into. The thing that maybe could knock me off of this, I do want to try it, is it seems like there's a lot of dexterity involved.
Yeah, so that's what I really honestly get tripped up, because you can fly, like you can just fly with the timer. You got a bar that has to refill or whatever, but like it's really tricky because stuff is shooting at you constantly, and you're trying to fly and dodge the projectiles, but also aim. Like there's a very walking and chewing gum thing going on of like you're trying to fly and maintain your height at the right, and like dodge stuff midair, but also aim at things with the mouse. You can play with the controller, but like still, like the aiming, it's a lot to do all at once.
When you're playing with the controller, does it seem, or
I haven't played it.
You played with the mouse?
I've never played it with control. In fact, it actually says partial controller support now that I'm looking at it, so maybe that's not ideal.
Okay, because the spell bar at the bottom looks really long.
Yeah, it is very much a WASD and mouse game, primarily.
Noita, it's 2020's Noita.
It's an incredible game that I can never quite decide if I really like or not.
I might go jump into this as well, because we are in a period now too where I'm just going back and revisiting stuff. It's not necessarily a lull in releases, but I'm finding that I'm able to catch up on some stuff, and I'm not gonna go over everything I played here, but it's been nice to just touch older stuff that I've been sitting on or I put down throughout the year, and then come September, I feel like that opportunity time is going to diminish significantly. Alex, speaking of older fare here, Darkest Dungeon, the original Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, speaking of games that are hard and mean.
It has new DLC, Fire's Edge.
The Fire's Edge, yeah. So I have not played original Darkest Dungeon in quite some time.
But you did spend a lot of time in it when it came out.
Oh, yeah. I played a shit ton of it the year it came out, which I think was 2016. And I really like it, despite the fact that the whole end game is just a nightmare. It is one of those games that was hard to begin with, and then just falls off a fucking difficulty cliff once you get toward the end of the campaign. So at a certain point, I realized I had put dozens of hours into this, was not interested in doing the extra work to actually finish the campaign, and then just never did. But I did briefly touch it a couple of times when some of the other DLC came out for this, but apparently I also had not picked up all the DLC for this game, because there has actually been a decent amount for it.
Wow.
And the reason this exists is because it's the 10-year anniversary of that game.
Okay.
So,
and what 2016.
That's sobering, because I remember seeing this game at PAX and talking to the developers, and it seeming very cool.
And it is.
And boy, was that a lifetime ago.
Whatever shit I'm talking here is mostly just by virtue of the fact that, like, I'm annoyed I never could finish it, but the actual game, the loop of it, has always been really sticky for me, and it's actually part of the reason why I haven't really gone back to it in a major way, is because I just don't need to do this all the time again. Like, I played through a lot of this. It's fun. It's good. I was just like, I don't know if I want this misery in my life again. And so the DLC is my good excuse to put that misery back into my life. So I started a new campaign with all the DLC activated, including the new campaign. The main thing about this new one is that they've added 2 of the classes from Darkest Dungeon 2 that were newcomers. Sorry,
I need to sidebar you here. Like, they put out DLC for 1 like well after 2 came out? I'm confused.
They were supporting 2 for a while. I don't think 2 ever did as well as 1 did, which is not to say it didn't do well at all, but I get the impression that there was still just a very active community for the first game.
Yeah, I mean, if that's where the players are, that's just good business sense. And I mean, let me just...
Well, it's telling, because the news update they wrote about this, there's a whole thing at the end that's like, hey, by the way, the other thing we're working on is much improved mod support. There's like a whole mod manager they're building for this game that's supposed to come out in a little while. And apparently, I think that is an admission that, like, hey, we know a bunch of you are still playing this first one, which is also why we put these classes in this game.
Also, just like there is a very wide gulf in the number of Steam reviews, for example, which is always like a soft barometer of sales numbers. Like, there's like 5 times more reviews for 1 than there are for 2.
Like, I think 2 is an okay game. I think 1 is just much more interesting to me, and adding those classes, I think, is smart. The 2 that they have added are the Runaway and I believe the Duelist is the other one. The Runaway is like fire attacks and also kind of like has some stealth mechanics attached to them where they can like run away and scurry away and like be harder to hit. The other one is like just straight up can be positioned anywhere in the line, and they have a bunch of like riposte abilities that make it so that they attack if they ever get attacked.
And so Darkest Dungeon is, again, a run-based game that is hard. But I remember the thing about, I didn't play a ton of it, but the thing was that the characters will get characteristics or traits that will then carry with them.
Yeah, it's all cosmic horror shit and mental health, conditions attached to that. Like, sometimes they can be bonuses. Sometimes, they become more valorous or, helpful. But most of the time it's like, hey, I'm really greedy now. Or, hey, I'm claustrophobic. I can't be in tight spaces, that kind of stuff. And there are things you can do in the village between runs to like take some of those effects off. It costs money, etc. But the whole thing is you're upgrading your team. Permadeath, obviously, for any characters that die on a run. You're trying to build up a roster, so that's not as big of a deal. They also added some other classes through the other DLC, which I've barely messed with, which I'm going to start messing around with now that I'm playing this. There's also like some new stuff in the hamlet, like some new buildings and things. This does not really add any new campaign missions from what I can tell, but there are new like trinkets you can acquire that have like new abilities that have not been in this game before.
That's cool. That's cool that they're going back and feeding some of this stuff back into the original.
Yeah. And I'll say this right now, I lost like 2.5 hours this morning to playing it when that DLC loaded up, and I'm just like, cool, that's dangerous. Yeah. I should probably not just play this all the time now, but it's notable.
You're having a good time with it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I don't think I'm going to have a good enough time where I'm going to put another 60 hours into this game, but, I'll keep playing around with it.
And they are still supporting, like you said, Darkest Dungeon 2, and so, yeah, I think... Look, I'm glad these are still able to make some money for them and have legs.
Yes, Red Hook can continue to exist because they are still supporting these games.
We need these developers to find a way. So
yeah, so the DLC is only $7. I think for the classes at least and the little bits of extra content they've thrown in there, that seems fine to me. I can't find much issue with that cost.
And look, if you're interested in Darkest Dungeon 1 and have not played it and have a PC and have Steam, I'll just say that until September 1st, that game is like $3.
Yeah.
It is on sale. So
it is also hard as shit. Let me again really emphasize this. But it's worth it. And part of the reason it's so worth it is because it does have genuinely maybe one of the all-time great announcers in it. That dude, that voice, there is nothing else like it.
Yeah, I remember seeing it at PAX, and it was the art style and the narrator that really caught your attention.
Lest exquisite exsanguination be considered a virtue.
That is Darkest Dungeon, specifically The Fire's Edge, which is out for Darkest Dungeon 1. Finally here, Brad, aside from the other stuff going on in your life, you have dipped into Quake in some way.
Perhaps you've heard of it.
I'm familiar with Quake. Now, before you get into Quake and all the things that are Quake related, I want to ask you, I was thinking of you this last weekend and my son, and I was like, man, Brad could really explain this better than I could. But my son likes making game stuff, right? Like he likes programming, likes making game stuff. he doesn't necessarily love going on and designing the levels for the game. He likes doing the mechanics, and he likes the programming, and he likes being like, man, look what I made.
I can
like, cool.
Very much identify with that.
And I was like, great. Are you going to make a game? He's like, I made a level editor so other people can make the levels. I'm like, okay.
Wait, he did?
Wait,
so he's a tools programmer?
So this is the thing we're trying to figure out, like, like what part of this do you really enjoy? Because he likes having the idea, but I think he likes doing the thing. And then once he does the thing, is like, I don't really want to make all these levels or do all this stuff.
So he's more of a Romero, is what you're saying.
And so this is what I was trying to figure out. I was like, are you a Carmack or a Romero, aside from all the personality based stuff?
Yeah, we're not applying a personality here. And
I always thought of Carmack as somebody who just liked the tech, and Romero was I like the devil. I want to. This game needs to have demons and whatever. Yes. And Carmack was more of the like, here's how I can make this work on this PC.
There's definitely a significant amount of devil that id Software lost when Romero was ejected.
So I was like, I wonder if you're more of just like, I want to show you I can do it, and that seemed like a Carmack thing.
Carmack is the famous brain on legs, like pure engineer, just like, but also like was a D&D. He was the DM for their D&D games.
Was he really?
As I understand, if I remember Romero's memoir, but very much a low level engine programmer. Romero was a very serious programmer, like to be serious. Fair, like he
very talented.
We don't need to digress too much, but his memoir is very good. Doom Guy, if you care about like the history.
I should send it over to.
He also like it's excellent. I mean, it also gets into his childhood a lot, and like it's really is very much a memoir of his whole life. But he was a serious solo like Apple II developer. He was making tons of his own games.
Okay.
Writing in 6502 assembly on the Apple II. Like he's like a very low level programmer. Like he wrote most or all of the tools. That's why I was not joking when I said your son is a tools programmer. Like Romero was writing like the level editor and the internal tools they were using.
Okay, so no slouch by any means.
No, absolutely not. Like does not get it. And some of that, of course, is the Daikatana era marketing stuff.
Yeah.
Later hubbub around his long hair stuff getting in the way, but like serious nerd, like very serious nerd with serious technical chops.
I think it's also hard when you're next to John Carmack, who is like just nerd.
That comes up in the book. It was not like a competition exactly, but there was some sort of like when they were kind of sorting the ordering of the company or something. There was some anecdote about they like each took a weekend to like try to pursue some goal, like they were trying to port something to some other computer or something, and it was just like, all right, let's see who can do a better job of this. And
so it's like a battle of the nerds.
At the end of the weekend, it became very clear who was going to be the main programmer of the company.
That's very funny. Okay, so like, but in any other company, Romero is the tech guy.
Totally, absolutely. Like I think he really has not gotten enough credit for his technical skill over the years. I'm sorry. I'm trying to fill enough time. Speaking of the Daikatana era. This image is too crappy to read the text on. Can you just fill for like 20 seconds?
Sure, yeah. I'll say we did not come to a conclusion yet for my son, who continues to make stuff in Godot, is what he's been.
Sounds like a programmer type to me. Anyway, okay, this all ties into why I've been playing Quake, or at least some of it, because QuakeCon just happened, and Quake's 30th anniversary just passed by a few weeks ago. But speaking of the Daikatana era marketing, you know, everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? I mean, I know not everybody who listens to this podcast is 50 years old, but
is this this game will make you
John Romero is about to make you his bitch was the infamous magazine, which he has disavowed. He does so in the book or whatever, but
saying it was not his idea, kind of thing.
There's a photo from QuakeCon that I should just throw in our Slack so you can see what I'm talking about. That I don't know who made this T-shirt. I think somebody else made it and brought it for him. Okay. But it is a red T-shirt that is the spitting image with the font work and like the grungy graphic design and everything of that magazine ad.
Yeah.
Except it said, John Romero's about to hope you're doing well.
That's very sweet. If people are looking for it, is there a thing they should search to find it?
This was on a Blue Sky post, and I think it was posted by the person maybe who took the photo at QuakeCon or something. I don't know. It's
also a very lovely photo of him smiling, holding up the shirt.
I've met him before. He's a very nice guy. But
doesn't he always say, "I hope you're doing well" to that one Sandy dude who's always talking weird shit about id on Twitch?
I'm sorry.
Or on Twitter?
I completely forgot about. Yes, you're right. See,
wait, what is that?
That's a whole. This is just going to turn into the id Software history hour, I guess. But
the very short version, there's a guy that used to work at id who's kind of a crank and a weird asshole.
Sandy Peterson, who was, I believe, he started during Doom 2. He was a map designer. Speaking of the level designer versus programmer dichotomy, he was a map guy, and apparently, I think he's a big designer in board games now. I think he's a pretty well respected board game designer, if I'm not mistaken. But yes,
Sandy Peterson.
But anyway, go ahead.
But so basically, Sandy either misremembers on purpose or not a lot of things about his time at id and makes a lot of proclaiming statements about how things were done at id, and usually on Twitter. And periodically, John has to get in there and quote tweet him and be like, yeah, so that's not actually anything that happened, and you're kind of none of that is really how it worked, and here's how it actually did work. Yeah. Hope you're doing well, Sandy.
Yeah,
okay. Wish you the best.
Peterson has told a lot of anecdotes incorrectly on Twitter, and Romero always steps in and corrects him. Some of them,
but not in a hostile way.
It's
a gentle hostility.
I see.
But I am well versed enough in the history of that company that even I've even been able to look at some of those anecdotes and be like, no, that's not how that worked.
Yeah.
No,
you followed this long enough.
It was the Wolfenstein port to SNES that they had that problem with, not the Doom. Well, come on.
Anyway. I tell you, someday that I feel bad because someday that will probably be me if somebody ever asks me about giant bomb stuff.
But you're not going to do it to start shit, which is part of the thing with Sandy.
I'd just be like, oh shit, I just really don't remember. I think it was this. I think Brad's did the first quick look, and it was probably a Doom game, right? And be like, oh, that's not what it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, what got you? So you saw this QuakeCon stuff, and you were like,
yeah, the QuakeCon stuff happened. Also, just based on the summer I've been having, really been retreating into my comfort zone. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
But
there was also some Quake thing I sent you that I didn't quite understand. Some new piece of DLC.
Well, yeah. So that's it. That's what I'm approaching playing. I have not played it yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But that came out as part of the, Bethesda just timed a whole thing around QuakeCon. It was the 30th anniversary, and they put out that new content for the game. They got all the founders of id back together, which I hope that's online somewhere, because in a perfect world, I would have loved to go to that QuakeCon and been at that. But I don't know if that talk or whatever they did together, because it's been a very long time since this is it's like Guns N' Roses, getting Axl and Slash back together type stuff,
Sure.
I don't know what the state of that is online, but anyway. It was 2021. I think it was the 25th anniversary. They put out Night Dive did their retro game treatment to Quake, where they put out a remaster of it, and it runs in their Kex engine, which is right. Night Dive has done Dark Forces and I couldn't even count how many old games they have re-released now in a remastered form, but they're always kind of wrapped in their engine.
Yeah.
But still the original game running within that, I believe, is how that works. But as part of that, Machine Games, Machine Games still works with id engines to this day, Indiana Jones and when the Wolfenstein games are made on the current iteration of id Tech or whatever.
Yeah, we talked about this. I don't think you were here. Some of what that means with the layoffs and stuff that happened at id going forward. But who can maintain all of that stuff that was still made?
Yeah, so the point is just institutionally, Machine Games still very versed in id software, id engines for making their current games, but also apparently they have something that they refer to colloquially internally as Quake Club.
Okay.
Which is where that episode, they made a new episode of Quake for that 25th anniversary version that I was talking about, the remaster or whatever they call it that came out in 2021. And now they've made another one.
Oh.
So they put out another new episode for Quake.
Quake 1.
Yes. So they had made another one that I had not paid much attention to. I guess that one was for Quake 2 in 2023. Because I had seen headlines 3 years ago or whatever, Machine Games made another Quake episode, and I kind of just didn't pay attention to it. Apparently that was for Quake 2 when they put out a remaster of Quake 2. But now they have circled back around and made another new episode for Quake 1. All of this is to say I have not played those new episodes yet.
Because you've just been playing Quake?
Because what I've been spending my time doing is tinkering with source ports of Quake.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, whatever. This is a long-winded way of saying I feel some kind of major Quake thing coming on. I can't quite say what it's going to
Quake.
be yet.
A Quake wave.
Jesus, don't say that, Brad. You live in San Francisco.
Something is going to happen with Quake. That's all I'm prepared to say right now.
For you or in the world?
No, for me.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I need to
So
play.
maybe you'll play Quake 4.
Yeah, sure.
That was the one I think I sent you that had that like DLC that never got released.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Somebody found, was it Rogue or Ritual? One of those satellite studios made it might have been Rogue. I forget which studio it was.
Ritual, I think.
Got most of the way through a Quake 4 expansion before it got canceled and never came out. And apparently somebody found a build of that DLC on a hard drive recently and uploaded it to GitHub.
Amazing.
And that's just floating around now and can kind of be played. I've never played Quake 4. I don't know anything much about that game. Anyway, I don't even know where else to go with this. I have been playing Iron Whale, what is that? Which is a fork of Quake Spasm, which is itself a source port of Quake.
Okay.
They put out the source code for Quake. Like all their games, they put out the source code up through Doom 3, right? Like people make games on old id engines, to this day, like Quadrilateral Cowboy and Skin Deep, those are made on id engines, for example.
Like free to do whatever you want with?
Yeah, well, as long as you abide by the terms of the license, which is,
I see.
It's GPL. It's like a pretty restrictive license, but yes, you absolutely can make a commercial game with their engine and sell it. Okay. Which is what Skin Deep was made on the Doom 3 engine. So anyway, Iron Whale is just a really, really fast port of Quake. Like for people
faster than Quake,
for people who feel like 1,000 frames a second is not enough. Like it's like an extremely, extremely optimized version of Quake. That's like modern. If you want, bananas. Like it's like if you want the most streamlined, efficient, most performant version of Quake imaginable, that's your version.
Yeah.
Also, I really like my source ports of Quake to be named like heavy metal albums, which Iron Whale certainly sounds like.
Absolutely.
So sorry, I can be easily confused. When you say source port, is it source engine or is it
no,
you're saying from the source?
No, that's just lowercase s, the generic term for game company releases the source code for their game, and then people port that, especially for an older game, it's like porting it to new platforms, basically.
Okay,
it's just the term that is used in the hobbyist development community to
nothing to do with source engine.
Not at all. No, like it's just porting a game to a newer engine. I mean, usually it's only called a source port if the code was released officially.
Okay.
Like if it's something like, there's these like Fallout 1 and 2 ports to other platforms that are out there. That's what I played Fallout on when I streamed it.
Yeah,
but that was
to kind of go back.
That was a reverse engineering effort. Yeah. Typically source port is like it's ported from an official code base that's been officially released. But yes, it is.
Yeah.
So this is. I mean, there's 8 more, probably a dozen more of these other Quake source ports. But it runs on modern Windows. It uses modern graphics technology. Et cetera, et cetera.
So could a source port be in the source engine?
Yeah, I don't think they've ever done a source code. I don't think Valve's ever put out any source code for Source, though.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Even for all the modding and Half-Life stuff?
I mean, Source is based on Quake 1. Like that's may have been somewhat lost to time, that detail at this point, but the Source engine was licensed and built on original Quake 1 source code, so there's probably some legal stickiness there, maybe to this day. There's an amazing. I'm just rambling here.
This part's fascinating to me.
There's an amazing kind of animated GIF or video you can find somewhere of. I think Kotaku ran a story on this years ago of lights blinking in different games over the years. Like you know how many games have you played where you go into some abandoned facility and there's an overhead light blinking on
flickering.
And off. And they lined up, it's like Quake 1, Half-Life 2, Half-Life Alyx.
Oh, all the flickering is the same?
A couple of other much more modern games, and every single one of them, that light blinking pattern is perfectly synchronized because they are all using the same like pseudo-random number generator or whatever.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's the exact same algorithm to generate the blink pattern.
That's so cool.
So, like, there's a lot of, like Call of Duty had an id Software copyright at the beginning of it for years because there was still Quake 3 code in Call of Duty for a very long time. Like the legacy of engines trickling down and inheriting to other engines and other games is a fascinating subject to me.
I mean, yeah, I think that's fascinating as well. I'm glad you're here to talk about it. I think also there's like another wrinkle on that is when the pool gets mixed from acquisition of companies, and now that code can legally just be absorbed into other places, and then the dissolution of some of those companies as people go back, and so weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yes. Anyway, I have been playing a little bit of Quake and Iron Whale here, but it's mostly been the official episodes. I kind of poked around in the machine games ones a little bit. Like, apparently they just make those maps when they have time.
Okay.
Like, there was a period between, I think it was between Indiana Jones shipping and the DLC ramping up to full production or something like that, where some of those mappers just had time on their hands, because they put up an article about this. They were basically like, yeah, we talked to the studio director and like had a little bit of time in between Indiana Jones stuff, and just were like, what are we going to do with our time? Let's go make some more Quake maps.
I'm sorry, but all that stuff just takes on a whole different angle with all the Microsoft stuff that's happening.
Well, yeah.
And it's weird for me because I was not here for any of that news, so that's like, I barely even have that context around this stuff. But
like, are those people even still there? Are there? Like,
I mean, this release was in this blog post for like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, so probably.
I mean, but not to put a storm cloud over what you're talking about, which is awesome stuff, is like, I think they still have their other shoot a drop, right, of their 2,000 layoffs that are coming at Microsoft and Xbox games. Well, I guess that just goes to show like id such a weird thing at this point, and machine games, the relationship there pretty close to id.
Yeah. Anyway, like I will figure out what it is I'm doing with Quake at some point soon and do it, I guess. If I can give you one little side friend piece of advice, I hope you're doing it because you love it and not thinking that little nugget of like, how do I turn this into content? No. Okay. No, I mean, I started poking at it.
I know that Switch is hard to turn off.
Yeah, it definitely is, but I very much was just like, I need to, I've been on a Mortal Kombat kick for the same reason recently. It's just like, the only thing I can really immerse myself in right now is stuff that I really love from a long time ago.
When you playing the Quake stuff, are you trying to like play through the campaign again?
I mean,
or
that's a whole
just
other thorny subject where I now admit that like I barely played Quake single player back in the day. Like, it was just deathmatch. Like, that was it.
I mean, that's fair.
That was 100% it. In fact, I pulled an email. Somebody, they probably wrote in for the same reason I am talking about this right now, or at least the timing of it. Let me find it. I'm just going to read it now.
Okay.
Darian from Toronto. Quake is iconic, but is it good? I've been playing the new official Quake expansion, and it's got me thinking. Quake's arsenal is a retread of Doom's. Its bestiary has more annoying enemy types, and they're all bullet sponges. Its original levels are tiny, it's too brown, and its super shotgun is lamentable. As someone who first played Quake within the last decade, I mostly use it as a platform for mods and community campaigns. Arcane Dimensions is revelatory. And consider myself untethered from nostalgia. Despite all of this, I consider it the platonic ideal of the FPS genre. The moving, the jumping, the shooting, flawless. When Quake first came out, did people acknowledge its flaws, or was everyone too wowed by id Tech?
This is all Quake 1?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, I mean, I can tell you from my perspective, and definitely I would think most of the people at the time, it was all about the multiplayer. Mm-hmm. Like, the campaign, if anything, was seen as like a little bit bland. Or again, like very much just like, oh, these are the same weapons as Doom. Like, oh, it's just you're hunting keys and finding secret areas and tallying a score at the end of the maps again. Like, it's the exact same thing, but with better graphics.
Yeah, but the multiplayer.
But then, holy shit, you can play this online. You can play this on the internet against other people, and like people barely even had internet access in 1996 in a commercial sense. Like, very few. I didn't know. I think I was the first person, the first household I knew to get internet access. I didn't know anybody that had it. Like, it was such a new thing to be able to go online and play a game like this against people. Like, the absolute best you were doing if you had access to an IPX network, like if your dad worked at a bank or something, and you could go in there and play 4-player Doom on over the network at night or something. That was like the absolute best you were going to get. But like, or maybe playing head-to-head 2-player Doom over a modem connection, like dialing somebody's house, you know, but like just the idea of being able to play 8 or 16 people online, especially with all the other stuff Quake brought to the table that I'll spend another hour talking about if you let me. Like, it was just completely fucking mind-blowing. So like, that was the main thing everybody cared about with Quake when it came out.
For me, Quake was really Quake 2. and it was the video card. It was my video card entry, and that's like late 90s, right? So
97. Like, it was late 97. So like,
this is Quake 2.
It's crazy to think how fast games came out back then, because Quake 1 came out June 96. Quake 2 came out December 97. So it was 18 months from Quake 1 to Quake 2.
So I don't really have as much experience with Quake 1, but Quake 2 was the thing I was like, the computer games are different forever.
Yeah, totally. And like GL Quake is really what started that. If you were into Quake 1, like going to my friend's house who got a 3DFX card and seeing GL Quake for the first time was like, oh man, like things like you just said, things are going to be different from now on.
Well, like, I just remember like shooting a laser bolt down a hallway and watching the light up around it was incredible. Yeah.
But anyway, whatever. I don't need to talk about this, but a lot happened in a very short period of time there. For basically like less than 4 years, the entire future of video games was defined between hardware acceleration and online multiplayer and modding and like 8 other things.
So the thing that we did in our house, we had online pretty early through Prodigy and then AOL, but I'd never played online, but we had an extra computer, and I tried getting Duke Nukem 3D to run so I can play against my brother and play a match, and I never really understood what a null modem cable was. So like we were always trying to figure out how the hell. My dad had a business line in the house, so we'd try and like both get online at the same time to matchmake with each other. And Duke Nukem, I think it was Duke Nukem 3D, had some kind of either matchmaking or co-op or something. I remember trying to play together, and every time we try to plug the computers into each other with a phone line, it just wouldn't work. Like something about that didn't work, or there wasn't really like LAN connection at the time, or something was weird. So we both had to try and dial up, and then that caused a lot of problems because we were only supposed to use the one line to get online and the other thing.
Oh, the dial-up era was a dark time for anyone trying to do anything of significance on the internet, because let's put it this way. I may have tried to play some Unreal Tournament on my family computer, and then I got yelled at. So like, I have to answer real emails. I have actual things to do on the internet. Get the fuck off.
Yeah, or in my case, it's just nobody could call the house because I was online for 6 or 8 hours, and the phone was just busy the whole time.
That's no good. Or like, somebody picks up the phone and then suddenly it's a drop your connection.
Yes, it's like, I've been downloading this shareware for 5 hours and you just killed my download. Like, oh my God, I want to die.
Plus, I can't remember exactly how it worked, but I feel like there were some shenanigans with like, could you both log into the same account? I feel like they didn't care if you were logged in and hitting their servers from from the same account from 2 different lines. I think you could do it at the time, and it didn't really cause anything weird, because in my mind at the time, being logged into AOL was being on the internet, right? Like being in your AOL portal was like on the internet. Now I wonder, was there a separation of that? Like, could you call into AOL, but also not? I don't know. The way that AOL, somebody's got to do, or it's probably out there, a way AOL actually worked at the time, and like what happened to AOL.
Oh, that's very well documented. I mean, I saw, go to finalkeyframe.com.
Oh,
don't do it. You can do it after this podcast. But
okay.
I spoke to the guy who runs this at the Vintage Computer Festival a few weeks ago.
Okay.
This guy has basically rebuilt or kind of ported the America Online 2.5 client, which is kind of the canonical one at the height of America Online.
Okay.
And he harvested a bunch of real AOL data that's on there that you can go through, like old chat room archives and downloads and like news and the whole thing.
Wait, you can access it?
Yes, you can. It fakes the dial-in, like you're actually dialing into the service through some kind of like proxy layer, and you can actually download the files from it and actually go into the chat rooms and like watch the scroll of the archive chats, and like it's
with like real screen names up there.
It's all simulated, but although I think you can chat with real people if other people are online at the same time as you.
No, I was more like could I see an old chat log that I had up there? No. Okay.
Well, if you had those data files, I bet you could probably find a way to shove them in here, because I think this is running in a VM. I think it's the real client, if I'm not mistaken.
You think those chat logs are archived somewhere in an AOL server somewhere?
Maybe. That's finalkeyframe.com. I'm sorry, I realize this is just more tech pod leaking in here, but
that's fun.
Prodigy Reloaded is the thing you're really talking about.
I didn't have as much time on Prodigy.
No, I never touched Prodigy or CompuServe or any of that stuff. Yeah. I just knew about it by reputation, but you should go read about Prodigy Reloaded sometime, because that is a thing where they are rebuilding that entire service from what they can find of its archives.
Jeez.
It's a long story. But anyway, this is a very rambly way to get back to Quake, which I'll finish up here.
Yes,
Which is to say, I haven't tried them all, but I think Iron Whale is probably the way to play modern Quake to the point that I'm playing it and not the Steam version, not the Kex Engine version that Night Dive did. Because Iron Whale integrates with all that new content and the quote-unquote remaster very tightly in a way that's like kind of mind-blowing to me. Like, you don't have to do anything but download the executable or, the zip file for Iron Whale. And if you own Quake on Steam and have it installed in Steam, that's it. You run that exe and it finds all the Steam stuff and just runs. And, like, apparently integrates with Steam in some way, because I tried running it this morning without Steam running.
Yeah.
And it popped up a message saying, like, hey, if you want integration with Steam achievements and played time and all that stuff, you need to make sure Steam is running in the background. So apparently it's like
replaces.
I guess it's like Steam aware and is hooking into Steam in a way that you can still get the Steam achievements while you're playing this version instead. But this version I think is closer to the original thing. But it can play all that new content, which is really cool, because the new content does not work in the original game, I don't believe. Because they've redone a bunch of models. They're like pushing the maps harder than the original game, I think, could accommodate. That's why Darian from Toronto here mentioned, like, some of the community campaigns that are coming out are like kind of mind-blowing, because people are, as with every game this old that's still getting mod work, like they're pushing it way harder than the original game could do.
Like for the system requirements of the PCs at the time.
And so that's why Iron Whale is like, why do we need another port that can do over 1,000 frames a second, or, And it's because all the newer community stuff is so much more complex than the maps in the original game.
Got it. It's still the same engine, basically ported, but it's pushing what the systems at the time could do.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a very good source port. I've been extremely impressed with it for a bunch of reasons that I won't get into here.
I love it. I learned a lot during that little bit there.
But I don't know. Here or on a stream or in my own time or something, I think more Quake is going to happen at some point.
Quake is going to happen. Did you were you there when John Romero came to the studio for I think Greg might have interviewed him for it was in that what was the floor? Was it 5th or 6th floor in the Second Street building?
CNET studio?
Yeah, he did an interview with him up there.
I don't think
came
so.
Through. I think it was when he was launched. Was it Monkey Works or Monkey Wrench or
was it Monkey Stone?
Monkey.
It's a monkey something. We're landing on that.
Yeah, it was Monkey Stone Games was one of his posts. Ion Storm Studios.
Yeah, and he came in. I think Greg interviewed him, and he was just so nice. He was like very, very pleasant and very accommodating. Yeah. But you must, if you were in the office, there's no way you didn't like bump into him.
I really don't. I might have been on a trip or something.
Yeah, you were out a lot.
Also, that stuff was just siloed a lot. If he was considered a PC, if that was considered like PC coverage, then there were other people that did PC coverage there, not me.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't remember that though, but I met him on a Midway trip when he and Tom Hall were working for Midway for a while.
Okay.
So,
and what's the name of the memoir or the biography?
Doom Guy.
He wrote it, or it's an auto. Okay.
Yeah, it's there's no. I don't think there's any ghostwriter written. I think he just wrote it himself. Doom Guy: Life in First Person is the name of the book. It's very good.
I should get it for my son. He should read more of that stuff. All right. That's going to do it for the games, yes?
There's a major revelation in that book that would probably take me 5+ minutes to explain, which I guess I won't get into.
Spoilers.
For somebody who really cares about like that era of first-person shooters and also what ended up happening to that company.
Oh, boy.
It was kind of rough to read because it was basically Carmack and Romero kind of agreeing on like, oh, here's maybe a way that the company might not have broken apart if we had done this instead of this.
Oh,
like here's a way that maybe we wouldn't have fired you.
Oh boy! Wait, Romero was fired.
Yeah, he was fired from it.
Oh, I thought he left.
No, like days after Quake shipped.
Oh, I don't think
it's
I realized
It's a lot of drama around that stuff. But
okay, we're gonna take another break here. We're gonna come back and talk about some news because there is some. So stick around, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back, and it is time for the news. Brad, You put a story in here about Sony's CEO talking about how things are going at Sony and the new direction of Sony and Sony in the 2026 and beyond. But it sounded like maybe really the relevant news here for the gaming community is news of the PlayStation 6.
Yeah, and it's even calling it news is maybe a little bit of a stretch. I mean, the news is just maintenance of the status quo, which is that he did an interview. This is Hiroki Totoki, who is the CEO of Sony Group Corporation, to be clear. This is not the head of Sony Interactive Entertainment, the PlayStation Group. This is the head of all of Sony.
This is Sony.
Did he replace Kazurai, or was there someone else in between there?
Wasn't Howard Stringer in there after?
Maybe.
I
don't
can't
It's
remember.
been so long.
I don't keep up with like Sony top level corporate leadership much. But anyway, this is the head guy of all of Sony talking to the Wall Street Journal. And in there is a tidbit that he says that at this point, they still have not decided when the PlayStation 6 is coming out, which they've said before. He told investors that in, I think it was May was the last time that was said publicly.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are 3 months later. That's still the case. And maybe more notably, that's 15 months or so-ish tops before people originally were expecting it to come out, because this was originally seen as a holiday 27 launch. Was both the expectation, and I think there were like maybe some leaks that indicated that was the plan at one point. But we're barely more than a year out now from when we assume this thing was going to come out. And he says they haven't decided yet when it's coming out. So I don't know. Alex is raising his hand. I don't know what the cutoff is.
Columbo hand raise here.
I don't know what the cutoff is, and I'm sure it varies for any number of factors, but there's got to be some cutoff where it's like, okay, if we don't make the decision and start assembling marketing plans and getting units into production by X date,
this thing is old when it comes out.
Yeah, like we can't hit this date. Like we need so much lead time to get marketing plans together, to get the things made, to do this and that. And maybe it's less than a year. I don't know, but like it just feels like we're getting to a point where if they don't decide to go ahead with next holiday, it's not going to be next holiday, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Lieutenant.
So the reason I just one more thing. Normally I don't like to tune my own horn here, but this is my podcast, so this is where else am I going to do it? I believe I was on record the last time some information around this stuff was bubbling up saying, I don't think they're going to hit 2027 based on how current market conditions and things are going. And I meant that for both Sony and Microsoft. I don't think either of those consoles are coming out next year. And now I extra don't believe it.
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, he cites both trade war and component shortages in here. This is basically the 1-2
big
punch.
Components.
It's like the 1-2 punch of what is destroying consumer electronics right now.
And also, it goes without saying, maybe because of all those factors. Also, is like we have no idea where the price would land on this.
How do we make a console that people will actually buy at the rate we sell it at?
Yeah, meet demand, meet a price point, and kind of know if they could. I assume this isn't necessarily explicit in the story, but know if they could keep up with manufacturing, right? Like even post. I assume you make these deals and lock in, hopefully, but it sounds like everybody's having problems locking in.
Yeah, I'm sure there's variation in deals, but I think generally you're maybe buying like a year at a time, or you're definitely not just like paying month by month for component supply. Like you're making kind of larger volume deals, but those do run out and you have to renew them, and it might be worse the next time.
Like I saw something float through recently, and I can't remember exactly what the specific component was, but some form of memory, whether it was memory related to RAM or memory related to components in somewhere else, had been booked through 2027. I saw.
Yeah, I think it was the head of Micron last week that came out and said that the memory supply issues next year are going to be worse than this year.
Yeah, and I think they said they have no indication that 2028 will actually be better.
I think they said they expect it to level off by then, or to maybe, I don't know.
Stop sinking.
But it also seems like that is so far away. Like if you're talking a year and a half away, there's been so much change and technology turbulence, let's say, in the market, that a year and a half away sounds like a lifetime. And stuff seems to be changing on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis.
Who even knows what the world looks like?
Right.
In 15 months.
Right. I just don't think they benefit right now, even if they have all their components, even if they get everything together and have this thing ready for next year. I don't know that there is like a great benefit to them putting out a new console next year instead of the year after. Like, I'm not sure that makes a huge difference to their bottom line. And if anything, it might help them to wait
to keep
to see if they can ride this out a little bit and figure out a way to get some of those costs under control.
Yeah, I mean, there is that. I mean, I this is a hard thing to know how to address, but there is also the sunk costs aspect of this, though, which is they've already put billions of dollars into R&D for the PS6.
Yeah.
So at some point they've got to start recouping that cost, and so,
of course.
And I don't know where the line is for like how long is too long to wait. Like at some point maybe you undercut your own future initiatives by waiting too long. Like you've got to get it out there and start building some install base, or the technology starts getting too old for the launch to be viable, or who knows what. But I mean, that stuff is definitely way beyond me.
I do think Valve would have loved to have waited for their Steam machines so they could have locked in, because they've talked explicitly about how hard those deals were to get for components and stuff. I bet they would have loved to have waited, but it's probably that same thing you just mentioned, Brad, of like, you've already put all this money in, you have launch plans, pushing that around. I think Sony, it's so hard to imagine them at 2027 or early 2027 or late 2026 announcing an over $1,000 console and expecting people to run out and buy it. Just people feel so hammered right now, with cost and being like, dude, what? Like,
personal computing in all forms is a fucking mess right now. And look, I'm again counting my blessings that I have not had to replace anything, but I am dreading the moment I have to replace anything in my home electronics suite right now.
I also just am not sure. I mean, we have Wolverine coming out soon, which is super anticipated, and I think one of Sony's biggest tentpole releases that they've had on the PlayStation 5 so far. And I think it doesn't feel like the inside my bubble here that the audience is banging on the door for new consoles quite yet. Like, I think they still have a little runway in that department in terms of stuff still runs pretty well. The graphics look pretty good, the games are still coming out. I don't think there's anything pushing too hard to be like, man, we could really use a new console. It doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, I mean, the conventional wisdom for why you need a new console is the software sales would start to sag toward the end of an existing generation. But that was in the old world of just boxed full price game releases, like that. Retail sales would start to drop. Like now that we're in this world of forever games, and they're making money on Fortnite transactions and Call of Duty stuff, and like that.
Well, Helldivers, war bonds.
Not everyone is, but
I don't know what the trajectory looks like these days with all those other revenue streams. Maybe that's not as much of a thing now.
And I'll say on the consumer end, outside of the business, I always used to judge it by like, has the PC gotten too far ahead of the console, right? Like, have graphics on the PC are they blowing the console version away? Where you're like, where the clear answer was always, oh, get it on the PC. It looks much, much better, runs better. I still think stuff on PC and stuff on console can be comparable in some places, where I still am looking to be like, should I get this on the PS5 or should I get this on the PC? I do lean a little on the PC just in terms of future proofing a bit, because sometimes stuff will scale a little bit better, but it's not head and shoulders. I don't think developers are pushing the bleeding edge on the PC as much as they used to, probably because the user base is also not buying really expensive graphics cards on the PC. I think now that we have a lot of data from the Steam hardware reports and stuff, where they're like, hey, actually, this is what most people have. Maybe you should target this.
Yeah. I mean, there basically hasn't been a crisis since Crisis, in terms of like a game, like a game that pushes just the PC hardware. Like everything trickles down from the consoles these days.
Yeah. So interesting tidbits here. I think that full interview is also kind of interesting.
I mean, that's literally one line from this interview. It is literally a one aside from the interview says, Totoki said the company still hasn't fixed a date for PS6's launch, but the whole, the 98% of this piece is about Sony's transition from a hardware company to an entertainment company.
With like the bulk of their money coming in from movies and and also turning video game properties into film and movie properties. Like
Sony being an entertainment company obviously is not new. Like this article points out that they bought their music label and their movie studio in the late 80s. It's like they've been in the entertainment business for a long time, but it is becoming the thing they do now. To the point that like their vaunted consumer electronics brand is like kind of on the back burner, and they're making deals to like part it out, like they're
Yeah.
They've got TCL is handling their TV division stuff now and stuff like that, Like PlayStation is kind of its own island, I would assume. Like I
in terms of hardware?
I don't think the PlayStation hardware business is going anywhere.
Right.
Unless there is a much more fundamental shift, but the rest of the company, it really seems like, the days of the Walkman and the TVs, the Vegas and stuff like Bravia.
The Vio. Is it the Vio? The
Vio was their laptop line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like Bravia, like all those, like think about how many like Sony consumer electronics brands you can name.
Right.
Walkman, Discman, Vega, Bravia, Trinitron.
Right.
Vio, Ibo.
Sure, whatever.
Oh, man, I was just thinking about Ibo the other day. Holy shit.
I mean, they do mention in this article, they call it, it was like hardware AI or something about robots.
That was a new one on me, physical AI.
Physical AI.
Which is, Wall Street Journal is a pretty businessy rag.
Yeah.
So seeing that phrase in there was a new one on me. That's like basically a term for robotics.
Yeah.
Robotics
like
and wearables.
Like Ibo.
Yes. Ibo is physical AI, apparently.
Right.
Man. Is there really a modern Ibo?
I assume it's probably Japan focused, but
is it commercial release or is it one of those?
Apparently they're selling a modern Ibo.
Okay.
Unless this is some kind of re-release or something, but
it could be. It could be like an anniversary release or something.
It is $3,200.
Jesus.
I mean, it's a robot dog. I'm not totally surprised. Did you guys ever see the weird like web ads they did for Ibo like way back in the day? I'm not sure these ever actually got released anywhere. I just have a batch of like these 2 ad campaigns they did that are, I would almost describe as something close to like a progenitor of Tim and Eric style anti-comedy.
Time for another video SOS.
I guess, yeah. Like there's like 26 of them total, but like they're all like 20 to 30 seconds long. But yeah, like I have these. I think Jeff acquired them at some point, and they are just very strange, like little comedy sketches that are unusual for advertising of that era, I would say.
And it was pushing the Ibo?
Yes, it was Ibo related.
Interesting. I don't think I have seen them.
Okay, maybe one day.
Sony. Shrug?
Maybe we'll put out a console someday, says Sony.
They're pretty happy with Spider-Man, I think. Sounds like.
Shockingly.
Yeah. They're pretty happy with Spider-Man, pretty happy with Last of Us. That article makes it sound like. Will you see a PlayStation 6 anytime soon? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Speaking of places that show movies and have put in for movies and series, Netflix and the crossover between movies and games. Netflix. Everybody remembers Netflix getting into video games. Whether you thought that was a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not here to tell you. I thought it was a weird thing.
I was going to say the follow-up question is, does anyone remember the games that came out of that?
So some people remember some games that had Netflix is publishing this tag on it. I never played anything through a Netflix account personally, so I can't speak to that. But I do remember them picking up one acquisition in particular, and that's Night School. They were picked up in 2021. They put out Oxenfree, then they had Oxenfree 2. They had a Black Mirror game. I don't know if you remember that. They released a game called Unhinged about 6 weeks ago. I don't know if anybody checked that out. They are being closed down along with a studio called Moonloot, which is a Helsinki-based studio that was founded in 2022. I was not familiar with any of Moonloot's properties here.
Okay.
They have not shipped a game.
Moonloot has not?
Moonloot did not ever ship a game. They were working on an Animal Crossing-like game from the sound of it. I had not even heard of Unhinged. I guess it just came out on Netflix.
Yeah, I didn't...
Like it's only playable on the Netflix service.
I have not done any of those Netflix-only things. I did play Oxenfree and Oxenfree 2. I enjoyed them. I liked Oxenfree 1 maybe a little better.
Yeah, Oxenfree, had a lot of buzz.
Yeah. No, listen, Night School did good work. I'm just saying it's the Netflix aspect of Night School that maybe was like not really their most storied work.
So this is kind of Netflix got into this. Amazon started doing in-house development. This was around that time when everybody was bringing it in-house. Netflix seems to really be divesting of that. This isn't the only thing going on with Netflix is closing these two studios. They are moving away from internal development and kind of going more into external development. And they are I guess this kind of mirrors, I don't keep track of this stuff, according to the reporting, some of their production stuff too. They are taking more externally third-party produced stuff and doing less internally produced stuff at Netflix. It's all about the money. They basically go on to say this is how they're realigning for their future here. They're going to not give up their publishing stuff, but they are basically getting away from internal development. This was all reported from GameFile. This was in a statement to them from Netflix directly. So
yeah,
good. Best of luck to the folks at Oxenfree, Moonloot, and anybody else affected to this. Oxenfree folks, I liked your games a lot. So.
Yeah,
or Night School.
Night School.
Night School. Yeah. I can't remember. I think I might have played the Black Mirror thing on Netflix when I had a Netflix subscription.
That was the video based thing they did.
Yeah,
right. Which has been archived. You can play that.
I may have tried that when it was there. They had a couple of those choose your own adventure things on Netflix for a bit.
If you acquire the video files, my understanding is somebody has rebuilt that so you can play it on your own now.
I see. Okay. You can't just go download buy a thing of it.
Seemingly no.
I see. Okay. Speaking of twists and turns with studios, we have talked about the reporting on Xbox's many twists and turns and layoffs and the continued layoffs and what's going on. Sorry, what? Yeah, divestitures. Yes. One of those twists and turns came with Compulsion Games, where they, along with Double Fine, were given the opportunity to go private again, and they retained some IPs. Compulsion Games, they are the people who made Contrast. They made We Happy Few. They were picked up by Microsoft in 2018. And they went independent last month, and they kept their IP. One of those games is South of Midnight, which apparently on the Steam page now says, instead of published by Microsoft, says published by Compulsion Games.
Right.
This is in the Steam DB pages. This was reported out by Respec. It should be worth noting, again, this is reported out by Respec as well, that the copyright on Steam still says Microsoft,
right? Though,
when I went to Compulsion Games' site, they still say they are owned by Microsoft. So some of these things might not just be updated.
Right. It's worth maybe checking to make sure stuff is like confirmed and everything. But like,
if you're buying it to support the studio, right? Like if that's your goal, I went and I bought it because that's a game I really want to play and I want them to succeed. And so I went and I picked it up. I hope they see the sale revenue from that. I think it's going to be really hard for them going forward, as it is for every developer out there right now, to make a living. But yes, on the consoles also, it's unclear what's happening there in terms of publishing rights.
That's a little murkier.
That could be trickier. So really the story is on the PC side on Steam, at least on the forward-facing Steam page, it does seem like Compulsion is in the revenue chain on the publishing side for South of Midnight there. Again, it hasn't been confirmed. I don't think they've put out a statement confirming that as of the recording of this podcast. But I'll jump in. I mean, that's a game I always wanted to play. I kind of got lost in my shuffle. It kind of got lost in some of the Microsoft stuff as well. I would like to jump into that. I've heard mostly positive things about that game. At the very least, a very interesting game. So
yeah, like I said, I was not here earlier in the summer when this happened, so I kind of missed some of the they're letting us keep our IP stuff. Yeah. But that's still a pretty rare thing to see a company A, not get shut down at all, but get to spin itself off. B, get to take its games and its properties with it. That's just crazy to see. Just seeing the publisher thing just change on the Steam page is so unusual.
Yeah, that itself is even a step above, because sometimes it seems like you can take the IP, but for existing properties that have come out, that's going to change, right?
It's they're still going to own the games that they paid for you to make.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens, I guess, if they put out a statement, or in the future, you might want to just do a little bit of homework if you're really want to be 100% sure.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe they owe Microsoft money on the back end.
Yeah.
To there's some revenue sharing, or who knows what's going on. But
that will never become public if that is the case. I can tell you that much.
Probably not.
Yeah. Like I said, when I went to their website, there was no statement there, and it even still said, "Hey, we're an Xbox or Microsoft owned."
Listen, it takes time to update websites. They probably have other priorities.
Other things on their hands. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of things getting updated, Alex Navarro.
Oh, jeez.
Look, you guys are both Simpsons
fans.
Not fans, super fans, maybe a little bit. I'll say
of a specific era.
Given the Simpsons fandom, I don't know if you. With all due respect, I don't know if you even qualify as a super fan, because there are some super fans of the Simpsons out there, but able to quote a lot of Simpsons stuff.
Yeah, of a specific era. Again, I do not believe I qualify with the people who have seen every episode through like season 30, whatever they're on now. I'm just saying, there's an era for me.
What is it Groening? Matt Groening?
Matt Groening, yeah.
Yeah. What is he loose lips sink ships? What is Matt out there spilling the beans on?
I don't even know what he's actually revealing here, because this could mean a couple of things, but basically they were talking about Simpsons video games on some kind of panel. The subject of the Simpsons Hit and Run was brought up. The Simpsons Hit and Run, for anyone who doesn't know, is the only good Simpsons game. And by that I mean it's the only great Simpsons game. Like I think the beat 'em up, the arcade beat 'em up, is pretty good. It's short, obviously. I think the EA Simpsons game is like serviceable, but it's not
that's the one I remember
special.
being okay.
Yeah, it's okay, but like Simpsons Hit and Run, legitimately, the only time they actually hit on a concept with that game or that franchise and made it into something that was genuinely pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. So that game obviously has been rights hell for 1,000 years now, because it was owned by Vivendi. And Vivendi has not been in video games since I think Eisenhower was in the presidency. So whatever was tied up with that particular game was probably never going to get like another official release, except maybe now it is or isn't. I don't know. Because what Matt Groening said at this panel was basically an allusion like, maybe the first game's coming back or something. And then the current showrunner had to step in and be like, yeah, that'd be great. Anyway. Yeah. But the thing is, I can't tell if it's because he was confused about what was actually going on with this, and maybe he was trying to correct him on actually we're not doing a remake of the first game, or is he just trying to prevent him from saying something that has not been announced?
Well, I mean, the quote from Groening does sound like something is happening.
Something is happening with that franchise, yes.
I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, but I think the original game is coming back in some form. Sounds like a...
Yeah.
That very much sounds like I am unbelievably rich and like kind of know everything that's going on with this property, but also I'm so rich I kind of don't have to. And like I think I heard something about we're doing something with Hit and Run, right? Like
he was on a conference call at some point.
Yes,
like but then I guess the showrunner was like, or not.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, maybe it's nothing, or maybe there is something happening.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of ongoing like fandom around that game to the point that I could see it maybe getting there eventually.
Well, so here's what it is that there are ways to play that game. It's out there, if you can find the right, cracks and what have you. Like there is a playable PC version out there of Hit and Run. I think we even streamed it at some point a few years ago, if I remember correctly. Yes. So. But there are almost no video games on this earth I think could benefit more from a genuine HD remake, remaster than that one. Because while the open world in that game is really cool, and the actual GTA mechanics of it are like totally serviceable, someone with like modern gaming sensibilities and like a sense of direction could really do some work on that thing and make it into something very cool. I think the original game is great on its own, but it could benefit significantly from someone really putting some spit and polish on that thing.
There are two other anecdotes in here that I thought were pretty funny in this story. The one where Matt Groening says, people said you can't call it road rage because that will encourage road rage.
Playing that game did make me angry, so he's right about that.
We did it anyway, obviously, and then when the next game came out and was called Hit and Run, nobody had a problem. I thought it was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then, is it Matt Selman, says, the lawyers of Crazy Taxi said, you can't rip off Crazy Taxi, and money changed hands, which
of course
I thought was so funny. I will use this opportunity to share a story I've shared multiple times, but it is one of my regrets. So I remember it now, and so when people ask questions during a Q&A or the podcast comes in, what's a video game thing you regret? This is the answer to one of those things. At a Simpsons event, I don't know if you guys were with me, Brad or Alex. It was for a Simpsons game or Simpsons something or other.
Was it at EA?
I don't remember. There were a bunch of Simpsons. It must have been that EA game or something. Yeah. I got this couch set. Brad, were you with me for this? It was like the miniatures of plastic, the couch set, and like the toys. And Matt Groening was there, and we met him. And he was, as you were picking these up, he was signing his business card and putting it with the couch set. And I happened to be there. You know, I'm not very pushy with that stuff. I was like, oh yeah, sure. I love collectible stuff. I'll grab one. And he gave me the business card. He went to go sign it, and the pen didn't work. And he's like, oh, sorry. I was like, don't worry about it. And now I have the business card without his signature. Is with the couch set, and I kind of wish I had it. Somebody give me a goddamn pen.
Always keep a pen on you, I guess.
I know.
When you meet Matt Groening.
You know. So yes. Now I have that. Still have that couch set with a business card that is his business card, which is fun, but
still cool.
But no autograph on it, which bummer. Simpsons Hit and Run, like you said, Alex, could use a little love.
Or they should just make another one. That would also be really cool if they wanted to do
challenge
that.
GTA. Get out there.
Cell shading has gotten very good.
Yep.
They should make another one, or they should make a new Simpsons game.
I think you should do it, again, not as a Simpson super fan. I think you should do it while the cast is still willing and able to go do it, right?
You are rapidly running out of time on that front.
This is what I'm saying.
Harry Shearer really would love to just not do this anymore, but they keep paying him too much money to not do it.
Has there been a fracture where somebody has left?
No one has left. They a couple of the minor voice actors have some occasionally left over. There was the famous one with the lady who voiced Maud Flanders leaving the show, and then they killed her character, somewhat infamously.
Okay.
But like of the main cast, only people have died. Like Doris Grau passed away, and a few other actors have, but the main cast, no one has left.
Let me ask you guys this: somebody passes away. If anybody passes away on that show, any character, do you think they will get a replacement cast, or are there limits to the replacement cast? Do you think they'd get
limits?
You think there are limits? Okay.
Let me put it this way: if it's a main Simpson,
yeah,
I think they really have to think about what they're going to do. I think if it's Hank Azaria or Harry Shearer, who mostly do the other townspeople, I think you could stopgap someone. But even with them, I think at a certain point you are talking about wrapping that show up.
You are. Okay.
That's me, but also I'm not an executive at Disney, so I'm probably not thinking that way.
I mean, it's Disney we're talking about.
It's Disney.
I think so. I think the AI marionette voice print, James Earl Jones style thing is more likely at this point, assuming the actors are willing to sign on for that. Then
they might have stuff in their contracts that prevents that.
Again, it's up to what the actors want to do.
Yeah.
Like Jones did that. You know, he consciously made the choice to sign that agreement for the sake of his family. So, if the actors are against it, of course they can't do that. But I don't know. They seem to like money. So,
yeah, I wonder. That's just a show. I feel like that is culturally we've all lived through. You know, coming up through. So it'd be interesting to see where that one goes, and the video games. All right. Lastly, but not least here by any means, Brad, we have another apparent retirement in the video game industry. We've talked about, developers, people we came up with who were pioneers in video games, kind of rightfully retiring, getting up there. Who is next to say they are retiring?
Warren Spector has just announced on LinkedIn that he is done.
Again.
At least I think so, he says.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if someone backed a dump truck full of money up to his house, I'm sure he'd at least think about making another thing. But
he seems like someone who gets bored.
I've been here before and changed my mind, but this time I'm pretty sure I mean it. I mean, he does mention in here there are still 3 games that in his head that he would like to have made.
Yeah.
But I don't know how likely any of them are to happen, even if somebody gave him money for them.
He's 70.
Which that's not a minor detail.
Yes. I'm trying to find, where's the line? There's just the one line in this thing he posted on LinkedIn, and I had it in front of me, and it's not jumping out at me now. Here it is. The games business has changed, and it's just not as much fun for me anymore.
I mean,
plus there's a new generation of developers coming up who deserve their time in the sun. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, but There's other stuff in here about like, I feel like I basically have done what I came to making games to do, like it's, and like I'm getting older and health and blah, blah, blah. It's not purely just, the industry sucks, fuck this, I'm out. But there is a small aspect of that, games business has changed. He's not wrong.
For sure. And so he had that studio Other Side, is that right? And then that's the one that put out Thick as Thieves. That
was that an Other Side game? That was his last. Thick as Thieves is the game that just came out like a few months ago, right? Wasn't it earlier?
And then in support after 2 months.
Yeah, I mean that's a weird one. I mean they announced that game as a big co-op live service game.
Yeah,
and then at some point they decided not to do the live service part of it,
right?
And just put out kind of a small scale co-op version of it, which is $5. Like it's a $5 game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to imagine they took a bath on the investment in making that game.
Yeah. So I think that probably we were talking before the show, and I think even Brad, you mentioned to me probably no small effect on that decision.
Yeah, like, to be certainly if it were me, if like you get to the end of this August career and have this happen, where you put years into a game like this and then have to pivot last minute because the business model is no longer supported.
Yeah. And
just have to basically put out what you had, or not what you had, but you know what I mean? Like they had to adapt it very late in development, and clearly for $5, they don't think there's a whole lot there at that point. Like I'm sure that's pretty demoralizing.
Yeah.
For folks who don't know Warren Spector, I'd say, I don't know, what top 3 would probably be Deus Ex.
Yeah, that's the one I think he is the most, well, whatever. His name is
System
on a lot
Shock.
Systems, prior to Deus Ex, it would have been System Shock. I mean, he was also a top-line credit on Ultima Underworld, which is like maybe the most influential of the games he's like that. I mean, that's pretty widely credited as being the first immersive sim.
I mean, he worked on multiple Ultimas, didn't he?
Yes, but
maybe not in a lead position, but I think a lot of his early career was working on different Ultimas.
Yeah, I'm definitely not an Ultima guy, so I'm not a great resource there. But yeah, he's got credits on like Ultima 6 and some others, but he also credited on some Wing Commander stuff. He was a producer on Wing Commander, so he was definitely like around on a lot of Origin stuff. But System Shock, he was System Shock and Deus Ex are the ones that are, I think, the most associated with him.
And then maybe for the later crowd, Thief. People love Thief.
Yeah, I don't think he was as involved with Thief though. To be clear, like I know he has a credit on
like
it.
A lead.
Like he's In fact, I saw some discussion this morning of people going like, "Why is he always so associated with Thief?" Like he was like director of the studio.
Yeah, that's what I always thought.
I don't know that he was. Wasn't Doug Church the big Thief guy? I forget. Anyway, I'm not sure, but.
Then I'm part of the problem because I always put that under the Spector. I mean, the mechanics are very Warren Spector. Like the choose your way of infiltration.
Wait,
very Deus Ex.
Greg LaPiccolo was the director of Thief.
Yeah,
I didn't. What?
My former coworker, Greg LaPiccolo. Yeah.
What?
Dude, a lot of those like Boston studio people ended up at Harmonix.
Oh, totally.
So.
There was like all kinds of cross pollination from like Looking Glass to Irrational and Harmonix, and you're totally. I just did not expect he of all people was the director of Thief.
Yeah.
Huh. Wild. Anyway.
And Epic Mickey.
Yeah. I shouldn't. People really. I never played those games, but I think people really like the Epic Mickey games, right?
I never took to Epic Mickey in any form. I honestly, it's one of the big bummers for me is that I like Warren Spector a lot as a person, and I have a great deal of respect for him as a designer and figurehead in this industry. But the Epic Mickey stuff just never did it for me.
Was that getting a serious like Disney bump in popularity?
Yeah, those games were just not that interesting.
Yeah, I never touched them, so I don't know. But like very, very like influential figure.
Absolutely.
Storied career.
And there aren't a lot of guys left from that generation that are still in like prominent positions in development these days.
He's definitely, I mean, he's definitely one of those early-ish 90s PC names. Like Sid Meier's still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Garriott is trying to get Ultima back right now. There's probably some others that I'm not thinking of, but you're right. There's like a lot of that era of game designers. Like Will Wright is long gone from making games.
Peter Molyneux.
Molyneux's apparently done.
Seemingly.
Did he say he was done?
Yeah, this is the Masters of Albion is supposed to be his last game.
I bet people rope folks in for consultation, like
no, they'll make consultant money.
Spector mentioned in his piece, because it's on LinkedIn, to be fair, this was not like a statement put out for games blogs. This was on LinkedIn, but he straight up said like, I think it's time to write a book and do some reading and lecturing, and by the way, I'm around for consulting.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. I like Deus Ex quite a bit.
Yeah, if that was the only influential game he had ever made, that would be like, that's a career-making game, enough. Basically. But also System Shock was like maybe even more. He made some very important games.
So best of luck, Warren, in your retirement. I hope you find fulfillment and come back when you want, because I'm sure the video game industry would love to have you.
Yeah. Also, if
you wouldn't love to have it,
he has always been. He's a very prominent one of those like, hey, games are not made by one person. Like, don't attribute a game just to me.
Yeah.
Kind of people. So.
Yeah. All right, that is the news. Let's jump into a couple of emails here. Podcast@nextlander.com. 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 Now, Brad.
Yes.
Before we get into the emails we're going to read, I want to just mention a couple that we probably won't read here, but I do appreciate people emailing us in. I had mentioned, hey, if you're in the booking industry, I would love to hear how that goes, especially for festivals. And we did get quite a few people, this is why I love our audience, being like, hey, yes, I do this. And basically, I'll just sum up those. A lot of them had details, which we won't repeat here on the podcast, but it sounds like it is about as varied as you might expect, given venues and budgets and all sorts of things. What I took away from some of those emails was you'll have a thing like an appearance fee, which is the minimum to get you in the door. And then you'll have, like, based on where you're headlining, the size of the venue, how big your staff is, all that stuff, you'll have your rate. And people will negotiate either back and forth or not and walk away.
Gotcha.
So that's about what it sounded like to me in booking those shows we had talked about. I'm really curious if everybody gets the same rate for like a Coachella, or you're like, hey, the headliners get X amount and everybody else comes down from there. It sounds like headliners will get X amount, and then you figure out the budget from there.
Right.
The other was I was very curious to hear what people inside EA are dealing with as this whole, or how they feel the vibes inside there as you're head down working on games, just trying to do your best as all of this stuff is happening with EA and the deal we talked about previously to the Saudi private investment fund and Jared Kushner. And I appreciated the emails we got there, and it sounds like, it's about what you'd expect, people trying to work with great people and make the games they want to make, while a lot of tornadoes are happening around them, and trying to do the best they can and support the people they work with and make the games that they want to make, while decisions way above their pay grade are happening inside the company. And it sounded like, without getting into any specifics, that if you're on a medium-sized team working on a medium-sized product that generates money, sounded like those people felt like they were safer than people who are on very small teams, not generating a ton of revenue, or very big teams that could be looked at as bloated or have too much excess on it. So again, thanks for those. I'm not going to read any of those emails because there's a lot of personal information in both of those things.
I would say that tracks with other like reporting that is going on about like internal vibes at EA and things like that. Like, not great. Yeah, but like, look, great people sometimes not in not great situations, right? Like people who are in there just trying to find one email we got was like, hey, I was looking at moving into another company. That company then had layoffs 6 months later after I realized I wasn't going to go to that job. And so I don't imagine anybody is like, nobody's jumping ship frivolously right now.
Right, that's exactly right. So anyway, thanks everybody for emailing in. Always appreciate comments from people who do that kind of stuff for a living.
For sure.
Brad, emails we can read on the show.
Yes, I'll whip through a couple. I have a doctor's appointment I got to run to, so we'll hit these quickly here. Baxter writes in, Kiwi here, thank you for acknowledging that New Zealand is in fact not part of Australia.
Yep.
Do people think it is?
Some people just don't know.
Really? I guess, okay, sure. I guess I could see it. You guys were asking why weed is still illegal here or considered scary, and honestly, it's pretty dumb. A lot of people here still treat it like the devil's lettuce.
Yes.
But we actually had a national vote on legalizing it back in 2020. It was basically 50-50 and lost by about 2%.
Oh, wow.
Because it was so close, pretty much everyone assumed the government would just go, all right, fair enough, let's sort this out. Nope. The funny thing is, our government has a bit of a choose-your-own-adventure approach to referendums. Back in 2009, we had a referendum asking whether smacking your kids should be a criminal offense.
Okay.
Just to be clear, I'm completely against hitting kids, but stay with me here.
Okay.
87% of the country voted against making it a crime.
Okay.
The government then basically went, cool, thanks for your input, and made it illegal anyway.
Oh,
great. Fascinating.
Okay.
So apparently an 87% majority can be ignored, but a 50-50 split is where democracy suddenly becomes very important.
I see.
Maybe if they let everyone get high, the parenting issue would sort itself out.
Yeah. Right.
More information needed on that front.
Yeah. TBD. Citations needed.
Yeah.
Okay. This all came up because we were talking about that Halloween game getting banned in New Zealand and Australia by the ratings board.
Because of the weed drugs.
Because you smoke weed, you get to see Michael Myers better in the game or something like that, as a mechanic. Yes. Another email, Brad?
Zach from Minnesota. I think this is because we talked about napping, right?
Mm-hmm.
The subject line is, I hate sleeping.
Okay.
What?
I hate sleeping because it's a waste of time. I have 2 kids and hobbies, so I need to not waste time.
Mm-hmm.
I've spent a good deal of time optimizing my sleep, but this is just, I'm reading this email because of the amazing specificity in this email.
Okay.
I've spent a good deal of time optimizing my sleep by tracking and learning how I fall asleep, the best conditions, light sources, what I do beforehand, etc. This, I think, allows me to push my awake time to the limits and then fall asleep fast for the maximum benefit of REM, rapid eye movement.
Hell yeah. Sleepmaxxing.
This is literally sleepmaxxing. In other words, if you fall asleep this fast, if you fall asleep this fast and it takes this long to go to deep sleep, and then you need 120 minutes of deep sleep, then there is no reason to sleep beyond a certain threshold because you're not benefiting from it. I'm also a crazy person, so maybe most people shouldn't mimic anything I do.
I love sleep so much. That's great. I indulge maybe too much.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have some kind of hypersomnia condition and have my entire life, because it is very hard for me to wake up in the morning and I love to sleep. But I understand where this person is coming from. I respect it, but I don't have 2 kids, so I can waste all the time I want sleeping.
Yeah,
I love it.
That is definitely a factor. On the note of naps, it generally takes a person 10 to 20 minutes to truly fall asleep and another 45 to 90 minutes to get into REM.
Boo.
So while I don't like naps, if you're going to take one, you really should budget between 90 to 120 minutes for it to be beneficial in a meaningful way. Not that short naps are useless, but they're not going to do much to actually provide rest for you and help you stay up longer afterward.
I don't know if I want to stay up longer afterward. I think I just want to feel slightly. I thought you were supposed to miss the REM cycle. Is that right? In the nap? More data.
I don't know.
I thought once you hit the REM cycle, then you're like in it, and that's like
harder
deeper.
to wake up.
I don't know. I don't know. Again, I think all of us agreed we're kind of not nappers, right?
Yeah, I can't nap to save my life.
Yeah. Unless
I'm just completely destroyed.
In which case, I think I'm sleeping.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to read one more quick one just because this is the week for it to be relevant.
Okay.
Based on stuff I talked about earlier. Jim writes in, wondering if you have any experience or memories of late 90s weirdo build engine games. Everyone knows Duke Nukem 3D, but what about the next tier down, like Shadow Warrior, Blood, and Redneck Rampage?
Oh, geez.
I remember Redneck Rampage.
Oh, see, all right, here you go.
I didn't play it, but I remember it.
Here's one for you. I'm replaying them via source ports, namely Raze, R-A-Z-E, and it's like being 17 years old again.
Is that good?
I don't know.
Being 17 years old again? I'm not sure if I would actually consider that a good thing personally, but everyone's experience is different.
I've played and was pretty blown away by Duke Nukem 3D at the time, as everyone was, because it did some wild stuff at the time.
Kick.
And then I didn't really play any of those other games. I never played Shadow Warrior or Blood when they were new.
And not Redneck Rampage?
Did not play Redneck Rampage.
I had a friend that had Redneck Rampage installed, but I never touched it.
I feel like that game kind of made a fair amount of news at the time.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It was on store shelves.
It was lightly infamous, I would say.
Right.
Where's Night Dive's Redneck Rampage?
I don't know. Have they done anything with the build engine?
I don't know.
I'm not sure if they have.
Is the build engine still out there?
Yes. I mean, I'm kind of like trying to Google as we're talking about this about what Raise is, because apparently, like I said, Raise is a source port of build, apparently.
Oh, I see.
I don't. Build engine. Okay, we don't need to get into this. I'm looking at the GitHub repo. Raise is a build engine port backed by GZ Doom Tech. I don't know what that means, because GZ Doom is a Doom source port. So I have no idea how build engine would factor. Whatever.
It's all id Tech all the way.
The point is, you can go play all those games. In fact, this says you can play Duke 3D, Blood, Redneck Rampage, Shadow Warrior, and Exhumed/Power Slave, which I
don't think I know that.
I know Power Slave.
I vaguely remember Power Slave.
And I'm not just thinking of the Iron Maiden album.
Yes, not to be confused with the Iron Maiden album of the same name. I barely remember what Power Slave is.
I don't know.
Okay, I guess that's another little known build engine game. Anyway, I guess this is a long-winded way of saying no, none of us really played build engine games back in the day.
No, not really at all.
Besides Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah. Yep.
I knew people who were deeply dedicated to these sorts of things, but I was not in the PC space that much when this stuff was popular.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for sending in the emails. That's going to do it. One other thing, a bunch of people sent in stuff about the Australian ratings board and the why stuff might not get allowed in there. Appreciate all the insight there. Seems like they had weird cutoffs for 15 plus, and I don't know, man. I don't know. Weed.
What is the point of censoring anything anymore? Like where is the protect the children, protect their sensibilities stuff now? Because I feel like worldwide we are just at the point. It's like, I don't know, fucking show them whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. Or like they're not getting it from the video games. They're getting it from
the president of the United States.
See, but the point is not to protect children. It's to use that as a veneer to advance your actual agenda.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, that is going to do it for the show. In case you missed it, you should go check out our Monday stream of Raft, where Brad and I are slowly coming. Well, not slowly. We are finding
your
out.
way.
Yeah, the joys of rafting. Then on Tuesday, Alex, you and I are continuing with Abby at Incident at Galley House.
Yep.
And then this Friday, we're still TBD. Maybe we'll do a little grab bag. Maybe we'll jump into something else. We're still figuring out, looking at the release calendar, seeing if there's something old, something new, something.
Many options exist for
grab
us.
baggy, something blue. And then, of course, the Watchcast. Alex, what's up on the Star Trek slate for this weekend, next week?
Right now, you can watch our episode or listen to our episode on episodes 7 and 8, one of which has one of the insanely long-winded title. Let's just say they are okay. Okay, maybe not particularly great episodes. Upcoming, we have the episodes The Tholian Web and Plato's Stepchildren, and while I haven't seen the second one, I can say I like The Tholian Web a lot, and I'm looking forward to talking about that one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about it as well. I watched them last night because tonight we're going to be recording Never Been a Better podcast, and that'll go up on the Patreon, patreon.com/Nextlander. I believe it's Dan Reichert and Jeff Backlard joining us tonight. Patreon.com/Nextlander, where you can go and support us. It is the #1 place to support Nextlander, this podcast, the guests we bring in, all of the things we do. Patreon.com/Nextlander. If you want to drop in your support, we greatly appreciate it. Bunch of tiers there, bunch of stuff in those tiers. You should go take a look at it. Patreon.com/Nextlander. There is one tier that gets their names read on this here show, and I'm going to read those names for you right now. Starting with Prepping My Wallet for September Vibes, Alpha Rhythm, Infelicitous Rips, Jacked Thucydides, David L., Kelly F., Brian Lucier, Skywarp, Jason Grimm, John Hubbard, Thordreen, Evan Cook, Jerry Lee, New Job, New Deidre. Congratulations. Potato, Pup is my name. You're part of the Bunny Crime cinematic universe. Jad Rita, Renee Tatro, Statics, Maybe Today's the Day. It Happens. Brian Murphy, Randy Duax, Randy Alderson, Andrew Tiebkin, Alex Wu, It's Me, JP, Edward Chick, Steve Lynn, Matthew Herrig, David Campos, and Tyler Treese. Thank you all to our mysterious benefactors from the bottom of my heart. We do appreciate you. A lot of you have been with us for a very long time. Some from the beginning. Appreciate it ever so much. And thanks to all of our patrons who have supported us. Patreon.com/Nextlander. Alex, that's going to do it for this week's show. Brad Shoemaker, that's going to do it for this week's show. Well, thanks, Vinny. I really appreciate you having me. Brad had to run off. Yeah, he had to go run off. He's got an appointment to get to. Golly, guys.
Oh, gee willikers, fellas. What a podcast.
One for the books, guys.
Now you're on the trolley. Why is that, Brad? Why is that
I don't
Brad?
know. I don't know, because I can't do it, Brad.
All right.
But thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back with more. Don't forget to go check out everything on the Patreon. And thanks for emailing. We've got a Q&A going on this week. So if you are listening to this and want to drop some questions in, go to the Discord. Look for the Patron Q&A Dropbox. We'll be doing that Thursday at noon. So if you hear this before then, there's still time. But for now, Alex Navarro, thanks again.
Thank you.
And thanks for everybody for listening. We'll be back next week.